CVSE 400-290, looking to verify that we are configured for ascent.
Yep, give me about 2 more minutes. I'm going to start CMA2 streaming. Copy.
NTD COSE hold requested.
Copy that.
I have an LCC violation of O-CT-004, S-band transponder anomaly. This was a transient LCC violation, so transponder 1 had a demodulated SNR estimate that went down to 2 dBm when it should have been between 10 and 13. It is now back up to 12, but we did lose that for just a moment. It does not appear that we lost our bit sync or carrier lock, which would be indicative that we lost our lock with the vehicle. So at this point, recommendation would still be go. However, we do have a pre-planned contingency procedure if we want to look at that. But again, this is transient, so we're back in a nominal range.
All right, let's see, LPE NTD.
Yeah, we're not seeing that hit. So I guess the question for COSE, was that less than 3 samples? Was that below our persistence?
Stand by, let me look. It did look like it did persist for several seconds on mine, but let me take a look at the number of samples.
Could I get a repeat on the affected LCC, please?
Yes, ma'am. That's going to be O-CT-004.
Thank you.
Yeah, us taking a look at the data right here, looks like that was a single sample.
Yeah, copy that. RFTS does report that they also lost lock for about 5 seconds. So I would love to ask KUS and see if they also lost lock with the vehicle for any extended amount of period.
And COSE, while we're doing that, these are 1/10 hertz measurements, correct? So we would have had to lose it for over 10 seconds to get a second sample?
Yes, sir, that's correct. It is 1/10 hertz.
Yeah, so from our perspective, the allowance is effectively up to 30 seconds, up to 3 samples based on the 1/10 hertz. This is not an LCC violation, I believe.
Yes, sir. I would agree with that at this point. Copy that.
We're checking with KUS on 232. I don't think they have 212 access. We're trying to verify, but it sounds like they have a loss of lock as well. About 2 seconds.
Okay. And I guess for both KUS and COSE, do we have lock now?
That's affirmed. We do have lock for COSE.
Yeah, so from the integration console perspective, we did have a temporary loss there within the allowable, and per the requirement, let's go.
And this is Houston Flight. We have lock and we have good telemetry here in GSE.
And KUS is reported to they have good lock now. So with all of that, OSC, then are we in a go configuration per your LCC?
Yes, sir. Recommendation would be go.
Right. LP, you concur with that?
Yes, sir. LP concurs go.
And launch director?
Yes, sir. Launch director concurs go.
All right, and I'm going to go ahead and just verify everybody has everything else complete, launch director, and if we do, we'll be ready to pick up the poll at that time, unless there's something else that you're aware of.
No, sir. Let's verify all our work is complete, and I would like one last check of our constraints list.
All right, let's see. OTC, are you still waiting for ComConfig, or are you...
That is affirmed, sir.
Okay, yeah, your only open item?
Yeah, OTC, this is CVSE. That 400 step 290 is complete. Copy.
Okay, so OTC, you're complete with all of your work?
That's affirmed.
Deu vontade de chocolate? Passa na Americanas. Aqui tem as marcas de sabores que você ama.
All right, and LPE, just want to verify we have no open constraints at this time.
No open constraints. We have a clear board, sir.
Okay, tracking the same here. And launch director, with that, we are clear and ready to pick up the launch readiness poll with your go.
All right, sir, I am go for the poll.
All right. And for all personnel, this is the NTD conducting the Artemis II launch readiness check. Verify ready to resume count and go for launch. OTC.
OTC is go.
STC.
STC is go.
GTC.
C's go.
MCO.
CO's go.
Safety Console.
The Safety Council is go.
LPE.
LPE's go.
RTD.
RTD's go.
Houston Flight.
Houston flight is go.
ROC.
ROC is go.
And CDR.
Crew is go.
Copy that. Thank you, Reed. And Launch Director NTD, our launch team is ready to proceed at this time.
All right, NTD, I copy all. At this time, I'll perform my poll. Attention on the net. This is the launch director performing the final poll for launch. Verify no constraints and go for launch. EGS, Program Chief Engineer.
Artemis Chief Engineers are go.
Copy, thank you. EGS, Chief Safety Officer.
Artemis CSOs are go.
Copy, thank you. Range Weather.
Launch weather is go.
Thank you, LWO. And Artemis MMT Chair.
MMTs go.
Thank you, John. And Integrity Launch Director.
Good to hear your voice, Charlie. PLT.
Thank you, Charlie. This is Victor. We are going for our families.
MS1.
This is Christina. We are going for our teammates.
MS2. This is Jeremy. We are going for all humanity. All right, Charlie, your Artemis II crew is go for launch. Full send.
I copy that. Reed, Victor, Christina, and Jeremy. On this historic mission, you take with you the heart of this Artemis team, the daring spirit of the American people and our partners across the globe, and the hopes and dreams of a new generation. Good luck. Godspeed, Artemis II. Let's go. And NTD Launch Director.
Go ahead, Launch Director.
Yes, sir. You have a go to proceed with countdown.
Copy that. I'll put it in work. CDR NTD.
Go.
Gear risers and initiate short purge per your EPROC 10.1.1, steps 8 and 9.
10.1.1, 8, and 9 going to work.
Copy. CVSE NTD. Start and verify recordings of our Orion cameras.
Copy.
Okay. Well, there you heard it.
RSR NTD.
RSR.
They're getting ready to start terminal count.
SNA arm rotation enable at this time, please.
It's currently at T-minus 10 minutes. Once we wrap up this last bit of work,
SNA arm rotation enable complete.
we're going to start that clock.
Copy that. Thank you.
Integrity crew, close and lock visors.
You heard an issue, worked in real time with telemetry lock on the Orion. It was transitory. It was very short. They checked the data, confirmed that they had a good lock. This was with the S-band transmitter on the Orion. Worked through that issue, looked at the data, and cleared it. All with the world watching. Impressive work by the launch team. So we have a 2-hour window, which starts in just a few minutes at 6:24 p.m. Eastern Time and goes until 8:24 p.m. Eastern Time.
And ECL NTD will be waiting for your verification on the short purge.
ECL copies.
And for all personnel, once we get that short purge verification, we'll verify that we are clear to go, and then we'll proceed with the terminal count. ECL time estimate?
About a minute.
Copy.
So we're going into the launch window, but not by much, it looks like. Just wrapping up some final work. And once that's completed, you'll hear NASA Test Director Jeff Spaulding ask for the ground launch sequencer operator to go ahead and start the clock. The ground launch sequencer is an application software that runs on top of the launch control system in the firing room. Acts like a conductor of an orchestra, executing hundreds of commands in precise order and timing. It's all autonomous.
NTD CCL 212, short purge initiation is verified.
All right, copy that, and we're verifying our constraints. All right, and we're clear from cutouts. And with that, we're going to resume the clock momentarily. And CGLS, you can resume the clock on your mark.
GLS copies. 3, 2, 1, mark. GLS mainline has been initiated.
T-minus 10 minutes and counting.
And that begins terminal count. Our new T0 is 6:35 p.m. Eastern Time. 6:35 p.m. Eastern Time. We are now counting down to liftoff of Artemis II. From now on, you're going to hear two voices on the loops. If everything goes nominally, NASA Test Director Jeff Spaulding, who's directly managing the launch team, and Alex Bendelos, the GLS operator who closely monitors the software. He has the ability to stop and restart the countdown.
The way that teams brainstorm is broken. They're working on a whiteboard that's disconnected from the rest of their work, and it's killing team creativity.
Houston flight copies. 22:35:12.
Affirm.
There you heard confirmation of the exact T0, 6:35 and 12 seconds p.m. Eastern Time. Again, our T0 is 6:35 and 12 seconds p.m. Eastern Time. But as I was saying, there's no launch button. This is autonomous. But there is a button that keeps you from launching, and that button allows the GLS operator to pause the countdown outside of terminal count and during terminal count and submit a hold to the next holding point. So the clock won't stop right away. If there's an issue, we'll go to the next stable holding point. This is how GLS configures the rocket and ground systems to a stable point where they can stop the countdown if that's needed. But right now, we are counting down. Our next big milestone, looking to retract the crew access arm.
GLS is go for crew access arm retract.
And there you see the crew access arm moving away. That's the path that the astronauts took to ingress into the rocket. Until this point, that was their way off the pad if they needed to evacuate. But now with that arm retracting, the backup transitions to a launch abort system. And they'll begin arming that shortly. Of course, the launch abort system, great shot there of the crew access arm retracting away. The launch abort system is the tower at the top, and that's what would pull Orion and its crew off the top of the rocket in case of an emergency, whether it's on the ground or in flight. This is critical safety hardware that protects the lives of the astronauts. Starting at T-minus 6 minutes, the GLS will start bringing that and other high-energy systems online, starting with core stage pressurization. Weather is 90% go. The range is go. All systems are go.
GLS is go for core stage tank pressurization.
That means the replenish valve for the liquid hydrogen tank has now closed, and that tank is beginning to pressurize to flight levels because that hydrogen is naturally boiling inside the tank. We'll get the liquid oxygen tank a little later in the count. Now the team is waiting for verification that, if needed, the Artemis II crew could use the launch abort system to pull Orion safely off the top of the rocket in an emergency. Let's listen in for that call.
GLS verifies last capability available.
And CDR, do you copy?
CDR copies, last available.
That's great news, and you heard the NTD verify that with the commander of the mission.
GLS is go for FTS arm.
Now work is being done to arm the flight termination system. This is so the range safety can send a flight termination command if the rocket flies too far off track. There's a brief built-in delay, so the launch abort system has time to pull the astronauts to safety first.
GLS is go for LH2 high flow bleed check.
All right, the high flow bleed check. That's so the cryo team gets verification that the RS-25 engines, all 4 of them, are in the proper temperature range for launch.
GLS is go for core stage APU start.
Core stage APUs start. Those are auxiliary power units, high-speed turbines which provide pressure to hydraulic pumps that steer the RS-25 engines. We're going to see a gimbal test a little later at T-minus 2 minutes and 30 seconds. This is what allows
GLS is go for purge sequence 4.
moving through the milestones.
And then the core stage
All
will
is
follow
looking
in
good.
T-minus 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Got 2.5 minutes. Here it comes.
Coming up in just a few seconds, we're going to get that thrust vector control actuator test. This is a gimbaling of the
I
engines.
believe it's at 2 minutes and 2 seconds that the ICPS switches to internal battery power, so that's the next before that rate.
E nessa última viagem aí, ó, só de despesa super faturada, vai cair na nossa mão 10 mil pra gente dividir.
You just see the shadow change a little bit down there.
GLS is go for upper stage to internal power.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. How are you guys doing?
Under 2 minutes.
How are you guys doing?
Under 2 minutes. Yeah.
I can't imagine what everybody there on the ground is exciting just to watch on the screens. Exciting just to watch on the screens.
GLS is go for core stage to internal power.
Here we go then, everybody.
1 minute.
60 seconds away. T-minus 50. T-minus 40 seconds.
GLS, go for ALS.
The vehicle is now in control of the countdown.
25. 20.
Expect the hydrogen burn-offs to
15.
ignite momentarily. Here we go.
GLS is go for core stage engines.
There go the Rofies. Here comes the deluge. Ignition of the RS-25s. Ignition of the boosters and liftoff. Artemis 2 is off and away. Let's go to the moon.
Houston, integrity. Good roll pitch.
Roger, roll pitch. Integrity, AMT high.
If you can hear me over the rumble, we're 60 seconds into flight of Artemis 2, humanity's return to the moon for the first time since 1972. We are under the thrust of 39,000 kilonewtons out of the twin SRBs and 4 RS-25s. We're through max Q 10 seconds ago. Continuing to pitch down range. Beautiful ascent from the Space Launch System. Next up, we will have SRB separation 2 minutes and 8 seconds into flight. Approximately 30 seconds away, those twin SRBs will use up all their propellant and fall away from the SLS stack. "20 seconds away from SRB burnout and jettison. Gorgeous ascent downrange from the tracking cameras. 2 minutes into flight right now. And we've got burnout. And that looks like SRB jet. The boosters are separated. The core stage is flying on its own. Once producing 80% of the thrust at liftoff, those boosters are spent.
Integrity, guidance converged, performance nominal, upper stage RCS ready.
Copy all, Stan.
Was that an onboard view?
That was an onboard view.
I saw one of the strakes on the core stage.
Next up, we will have the launch abort system jettison at T plus 3 minutes and 18 seconds into flight. That's just over 20 seconds away from now. The launch tower will jettison and make way for the rest of the flight.
Yep, right before that, the service module panels will jettison. It's a 3-piece panel that protects the service module on Orion, and they will separate before that jettison. Oh my goodness, look at that.
There they go.
Look at that.
There's
Look at that.
the panel separation.
And there goes the launch abort motor.
Oh my goodness. Now the crew has a clear view out of the windows of Earth as they propel themselves all the way to orbit. Oh my goodness.
And we could hear Reed Wiseman, commander there, confirming good separation.
+02.
As the crowds watch on from Florida, the next step in flight is going to be the course main engine cutoff.
At the Carmen line.
Past the Carmen
There's
line.
the Carmen
now.
line.
Outstanding, Stan. We have the same.
Once again, for 3 of them. One of them for the first time, Jeremy Hansen, now in space. I would say there's probably another call out about 5 minutes into flight. That's when one of the abort modes will be 3-engine press. We're probably going to hear some of that. There's been some of those call outs as well during ascent. Those are normal, basically informing the crew from here on. This will be, if something were to go wrong, right, that will be the option to abort. But again, everything continues to go well. Amazing, gorgeous launch views of SLS during daylight, and it continues to go.
This is spectacular.
This beautiful clean plume here, like this is where, for all of its leaky problems, the hydrogen shines. It's making water behind it.
GPS processing.
All right.
And can we just acknowledge? We see the same, and we have a beautiful moonrise. We're headed right at it.
Yeah, that's true.
I was about to say, can we just acknowledge they were basically on time? We were, what, 11 minutes after the launch window opened?
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's on time.
And on the first launch window that they have actually attempted, right? Because they've done wet dress rehearsals and things like that. But now they are actually...
Integrity, 3-engine press.
That's the abort call out. If, for whatever reason, they lost one of the engines, they will be able to continue the mission.
That's why they said 3-engine press there. Like they can press to orbit with 3 engines. They don't need that 4th engine because there's enough.
I believe it's all the way actually to the moon. Like the complete mission will still be able to be done.
Well, once you get to orbit, you're halfway to anywhere. So,
but yeah, boy, one of the other things I don't know. It's still visible.
You can still see it. It's still going downrange on these long-range cameras.
I don't know if they may call this out.
Integrity, looking good at 6 minutes.
There we go.
Yeah, we are 2 minutes from core stage Miko.
Yep. Before that, the core stage engines should throttle down to limit Gs, because even though it didn't produce a lot of thrust on the ground, now the core stage is basically drained a lot of that propellant. It's already used a lot of that propellant. So now the acceleration is going up.
Integrity, so expect nominal shutdown.
There we go.
Integrity copies, nominal shutdown.
Oh, from the launch control room.
That's from LCC.
Wow.
Be Charlie in the bottom, probably?
It looks like it.
It looks like Charlie.
In that position? Yeah.
She's got to be excited. I mean, they've all got to be. Can you imagine having worked on this for as long as they have? What an achievement this is just to get this far.
There's the plume.
From Port Canaveral.
I was going to say that's from the port down the road.
Those SRBs, they leave that sort of pillar of smoke, and then once they separate and you have this is the orange part of the rocket right now. What's burning is that central stage with the hydrogen and oxygen. And the hydrogen oxygen leaves a really clean plume behind it, whereas those SRBs leave a pillar of smoke that you ride into space.
Another point here, mode 4 abort once around, maybe? They're not calling it.
Integrity, AOA open.
There we go. Okay, so now they could be able to abort once around, basically all the way around the Earth and come back to the Pacific Ocean on the West Coast if this were to again, but it's continuing. It's going. It's still 20 seconds to Miko. Main engine cut off.
Yep. Well, almost 10 seconds now.
10 seconds, yeah.
Almost 10
It took him
now,
10 seconds to say that. It's an Alex answer.
I'm also very nervous, so I cannot word right now.
Here we go.
I don't blame you. The chat behind the scenes, I was going to say, there's some great images coming in. We can't wait to share with you all.
No exhaust now.
Looks like Miko to me.
Yeah. I wonder if we got that diff there, like...
Wow. Stage separation!
Stage separation from the core stage.
Nominal Miko, core stage separated.
NASA's animation a little bit behind schedule here, but here it goes. It's catching up.
Oh my god!
And that was
NASA. Go back to the live view, like.
And that was Capcom Stanley Love at Houston, and now is getting lost now over the horizon. I think, right?
Yeah, this looks like it's from the aerial imaging platform?
That will be 57, yeah.
Yeah.
So right now, the vehicle is going to be in a planned 2,222 by 27-kilometer orbit. That's what the core stage just inserted, Orion and the upper stage.
Olha, o estratégia, para mim, nesse processo de estudo foi super importante. Ele me ajudou bastante a ter acesso a todo o conteúdo, né, mastigado para mim. Né? Então, se eu fosse buscar tudo isso em livros, ia ser muito mais difícil. Então, a estratégia, ele facilitou bastante a minha vida, com todas as ferramentas que ele oferece, né, eu pude estudar da melhor forma possível. E hoje eu encontro pessoas e as pessoas falam, nossa, eu estou estudando por causa de você, porque você foi aprovado, nossa, você trabalha, é pai de 2 filhos, agora eu acredito, né, dá para acreditar, porque aconteceu com você, então hoje eu estou servindo como uma inspiração para as pessoas.
Okay.
I'm being wowed at the moment. I don't know if you guys are looking at the chat, but I've seen a few photographs that have come in from our team on the ground. Jerry shared a couple of launch that are just absolutely mind-blowing. I can't wait for all the audience to be able to see those and purchase those as a memento of this historic day.
Now, it's very important to stress here that the mission is nowhere near done. We're just 10 minutes into a 10-day mission, okay?
Integrity, good. Neds deploy.
Absolutely. We're expecting the ICPS to do more work in about 49 minutes after launch, correct?
Good, Neds.
Yeah, okay, so that call-out was the nozzle deployment on the RL-10 engine. So the upper stage has an RL-10 engine, and its nozzle extends
And
after
Integrity
separation.
Houston for PWD setup. Just a reminder, halfway open on the secondary.
And so, yeah, they were just informing the crew that it got
halfway open.
It got extended.
I'm surprised by the realistic lighting choice here on the rendering. Like,
yeah, right?
It's a little tough to see, honestly. I guess the lights on the other side.
They can light this however they like, but they decide to light it realistically when it goes into the evening, which we can't see from the onboard cameras, which the animation is meant to replace. Okay.
Can y'all see? Does it even? Is it showing the nozzle extension on the animation?
Can't really tell. It's very dark.
I can't tell. It's very dark.
I think so. I can see a light grey line, and it looks further like the nozzle has been extended in the animation.
They should have done this with IR or something so we could see what's happening in the animation. You know something? I'm okay with it because there are 4 human beings in a spacecraft that is set up, that is capable of taking them around the moon. So I guess we'll let the animation slide.
I still cannot believe that this thing launched on the first launch attempt.
Within like 10, 11 minutes of the beginning of the window? That's a little nuts. It's like the universe
Especially compare
aligning.
after Artemis 1. Do you remember how many attempts we went through with that?
I try to forget.
I'm sure Jared will be super happy because he's been talking about, keeping competencies. I don't even remember the whole, spiel.
Can I just say, in his interview with us, Jared Isaacman said he was going to be accelerating the schedule, that we should expect to see the next core stage in the next 3.5 weeks. By accelerating the schedule, he has turned God knows how many launch attempts for Artemis 1 into 10 minutes into the first attempt.
Back in auto.
Copy C3 aux, and we're 2 minutes to maneuver.
Folks, there's all sorts of shots. All of our photographers, videographers that are out there at the Cape are currently taking the shots off their cards, the SD cards, and sending them to us. So in a little bit here, we'll have an awful lot of, can I say freaking fantastic? I can say that, right?
You can say that.
All right, we're going to have a lot of freaking fantastic shots to show y'all in just a few minutes. Still listening in to the capsule, but the capsule's coasting right now, isn't it?
Beautiful, beautiful. One thing I will also say, I will be honest, I didn't really understand the daylight launch hype before the launch. Now I've seen the photos, I apologize, and I 100% understand the daylight launch hype. The evening lighting, the, cloudy but pretty blue skies in Florida, absolutely spectacular.
Especially with the SRBs. I mean, the pillar of smoke that goes behind the SRBs, you know that thing launched. Like, if you didn't, you probably heard. I bet you everybody heard it.
I bet they
but
felt
you look,
it.
Yeah. And it just, it lingers. They sort of drift, and you can see the winds blowing them, but the SRBs don't play around.
I see Sawyer's getting back on comms. I was going to say, we should ask him did he feel it? Sawyer, are you back on comms yet?
Probably pushed him backwards
I'm
a little
something.
bit.
I'm here or something.
Okay, you got to share with us. How did it feel on the ground?
That was unreal. The volume, it just keeps getting louder and louder. Like, you think it's going to stop, but it doesn't. And then you get the reverberation off of all of the buildings, all of the huts, all of the cars, everything in the area. So as soon as it hits you from the front, it bounces off the buildings and hits you from behind. So you are getting bombarded in all directions with sound. This is one that you see, that you hear, and that you feel. This is one of those punchy ones where you feel the vibration. And it's unlike Shuttle, where it goes for maybe 10 or 15 seconds of the punchy stuff. We're talking like 25, 30 seconds of the real punch. And then, of course, the sound keeps going. And I had to stop at one point and just look. Look up. There was this tiny little dot that was going by, and I was talking with somebody next to me, and it's like, there are people in that. That little dot, as just watching it go by, had people going to the moon. I may or may not have had to wipe tears from my eyes. I'll never forget that for the rest of my life. I can tell you that.
Oh,
I don't think you were alone, Sawyer. Yeah.
No, I think we were all teary, and we weren't even the ones there feeling it. I remember the first time seeing my first orbital human launch. Oh my gosh, the feeling I saw, that moment when you realize there's humans on that spaceship, it's overwhelming. So the fact that we're sending humans back to the moon for the first time since 1972, wow. What an incredible thing we've just been privileged enough to
Sawyer,
be able to witness.
I'm going to ask you a thing that you're probably very familiar.
Uh-huh.
Did you hear the VAV squeal?
You couldn't hear anything if you wanted to hear anything. It may have squealed, but it is so unbelievably loud that there was no chance in heck that I could hear specifically a VAV squeal. All you heard was...
Yeah, I don't know if it... I'm asking these because I don't know if it's like it was on our audio. I was also trying to listen into the NASA update, so it might have been a bit of a mix here by audio. But when this launched and I started hearing the rumble in our feed, I could also hear one thing, the people cheering, and that was exciting me. It was like, that is cool because people are seeing other people heading out to the moon and cheering and yelling, and I was like, that's our VAV squeal. It's the people squeal.
The moment that it got to like 30, you could hear someone shout 1 minute, and then it got quiet. And then you get 30 seconds, and it was still pretty quiet. Then at 10, you heard there was a group by the countdown clock that was counting loud. You couldn't miss it.
And Integrity Houston, cross tie is on board per the ETSI-DEM.
We copy Houston, thank you. So, I mean, you heard the countdown. It echoed, it reverberated, and the cheer that erupted when it lifted off. Of course, I'm hearing camera clicks, but you couldn't miss it. And then, of course, very shortly after the cheers, you hear the low rumble. Like, okay, it's coming. But then as soon as that rumble picks up, it gets so unbelievably loud. And this was the same that I had at Artemis 1. It's the same thing here. You go, oh, it got to the level of Shuttle. I don't know how it can get any louder. And it does. Somehow it does.
Just over 18 minutes since Artemis 2 SLS has pushed 4 human beings out into space. The beginning of their journey, not the end of their journey, the beginning of their journey, because they still have a very long road to go all the way around the moon.
Any words on that momentary caution?
I'll listen in.
And Reed, no action. We're looking at it.
Yeah, now they are maneuvering for the attitude for solar array deployment, because they need to point those solar arrays once they deploy and point them to the sun, obviously, to recharge recharge batteries and keep Orion powered.
I think here we're waiting for it to come out from behind the shadow of the Earth so we can see something in the rendering.
Yeah.
I'm still wowed by all these images that are coming into the chat behind screens. I cannot wait to be able to share them with the audience right now because they are blowing my mind. The team on the ground have done an amazing job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because Philip actually, Philip corrected me that they are right now in the dark. That's true. But they are orienting right now the stack. They're using the RCS thrusters on the ICPS on the upper stage. They're still both connected, and there's still 2 more burns from that upper stage to perform. But yeah. There's the very useful timeline from our producers.
So, Alex, I mean, they were launching towards the east and over on this side of the Atlantic.
Integrity Houston, update on TDRS handover for your pad.
Ooh, TDRS handover. That means they're going to the Deep Space Network.
Give us just
No, they're
1
changing
minute.
satellites, I think.
Well,
yeah, probably.
Dan, you can read it. Mike is ready to copy.
Roger. TDRS handover east to west expected 1 second earlier at 5:1 minutes 26 seconds.
Yeah, there we go.
Hi, Stan. We copy 1 second earlier for 5126 TDRS east to west, and saws are starting to deploy. Thermal knives are firing.
We concur. Thanks for the report.
Is that a little glow in the animation there?
It looks
I
like
think
it, doesn't it?
I think NASA's animation has got a little bit confused here because it thinks they're in the perigee rays burn, which is not scheduled until T plus 49 minutes into flight. We should have just got the Orion solar array deploy. I wonder if somebody has accidentally advanced the animation 2 stops forward when it should have just been 1 stop. NASA TV, you might want to pump that one back just a little bit.
Have a look. Turn the engine back off. And again, that's just the animation there. The call-outs that are coming down for the vehicle are the important things.
Yep. And that call out was very important because, you know, what I told to Alice that there's multiple TDRS satellites, right? The telemetry data relay satellite system or tracking and data relay satellite system, right? And there are multiple of these, and they are right now orbiting around the Earth, and so they're moving to the east. And there's going to be a point where they're no longer going to be in view of one of the satellites, but there's going to be another one to pick it up, right? And so they need to do that handover between satellites. And so that one, I think they said 51 minutes into the mission, if I'm not mistaken. And that one is very important because the perigee race maneuver is at 49 minutes, 50 seconds at least per the latest.
And Integrity, for prop messages, we see 2 temperature measurements right near the line. It's that momentary message you saw earlier. We're going to suppress those. It's CM helium heater 2 T1 and heater 1 T1. They're going suppressed.
All right.
Integrity, thank you. We see the same.
But yeah, that handover could happen during that next burn, the perigee race maneuver burn. So it's very important for them to know that sort of stuff, you know?
Yeah. Just going to keep listening in here as they get more call-outs. It sounded like there were 2 readings that were near the line, but they said they're just going to suppress those, which basically means like hitting snooze on your alarm. Something was sort of near an alarm, and if they suppress it, they're not too terribly concerned about it right now. We'll see if we get more call-outs on that. But again, the thousands of sensors that are watching all of the different things. You heard a discussion there of a temporary prop alarm, the propellant it sounded like, but it was just temporary. And then we heard the discussion about the 2 readings that were near the line and the decision to suppress those, which is basically just turn off the alarm. course, they'll continue watching them, but
I was just going to say, before we get the images come up, guys,
Houston
there are
Integrity, we are happy to report that Jeremy has the O2 sensors on.
Copy O2 sensors.
I shouldn't really call it that. X. So if you want to go and check out some of the images that were taken by the team before we get them up on screen, go check out the social media pages of NSF. They are being shared right now and they are incredible. And of course, you can purchase the images from the team as well.
Integrity Houston, we see 4 saws deployed and latched, ready for ATO preferred.
There we go.
Yeah,
those are the solar panels.
Procedure stand, and we see the same thing.
Yeah, again, NASA acronyms,
Question
right?
mark.
They call them SAWs.
Integrity
Solar Array
Houston,
Wing.
we are seeing a 7-second miscompare between the MET on Orion and ICPS. We'd like you to read us the MET from your center status bar and for the ICPS on StackSum.
The reason why I chuckled at that, it's because it reminded me of the Starliner OFT1 issue,
alignment, MET
where
25, 14, 15, 16, precisely aligned with ICPS MET.
Copy, thank you for that. We'll investigate a ground issue.
And Houston Integrity, ATO preferred set.
Copy, ATO preferred.
Was that ATO, Alex?
Yeah.
Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah. Sorry, sometimes I don't know which one is talking right now. Because I have 2 different feeds right now that I'm listening to, and there's a 3rd feed as well. So excuse me if I talk over them. It's not on purpose. And
okay.
Yeah, what I was trying to say is that I chuckle a little. It's only 7 seconds, so I'm sure they can troubleshoot that. There's plenty of time, but you know, Starliner's
not like 18 hours or anything.
Exactly. Starliner's orbital flight test 1 back in December 2019. They had like an 11-hour delay between what the rocket mission elapsed time was and the Starliner mission elapsed time. That was way worse, of course. This is only 7 seconds, so I don't think it's a big issue, to be fair, but it reminded me of that. Good news, though. The solar arrays are deployed and latched, so that's good. And there's still, 20 more minutes until the perigee race maneuver? Yeah.
Yeah, we're expecting that at plus 49 minutes, correct?
Yeah. Oh boy. Less BPMs, but still quite a lot to go in this mission.
I'm really curious if I've brought up the Artemis website, right? That live animation. That's an animation problem. That's not the engine's actually burning.
NASA, if you want any help, I think Ryan is just now volunteering to help you.
I'll do you a thing in KSP. It'll look great.
Yeah, just throttle down the engine so it stops. But that is the spacecraft as it will go all the way around the moon, isn't it?
Well, not the entire spacecraft. The ICPS will return to Earth. It will be the Orion service module, the European service module, I should say, being a European. That is what will conduct the translunar ejection burn, and then that spacecraft will go around the moon. But this spacecraft, at least, is going to be in a highly elliptical Earth orbit, which is, still going to be pretty spectacular. And when they separate, we're going to have those proximity operations. The crew is essentially going to pretend the upper stage is a lander and pretend to dock to it, essentially, and operate around it, testing Orion's controls. And that'll be Reed Wiseman and Victor Glover are going to swap seats, and it'll be Victor Glover, I believe, at the controls of Orion.
Integrity for GNC, we're taking channel 1 to unfiltered and to BFS.
Okay, Stan, we're watching. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was listening into another update as well. Yeah, I was gonna say, speaking of KSPs, we were talking about the animation. Provided that those numbers on the lower right are correct, right? One of the things that people might be wondering, if you're very new, because this mission is historic, right? So you might not know what is going on. Why is it that, for example, the speed, the velocity is going down while the distance from Earth is going up and things like that? That's just orbital mechanics, right? Same deal that when you throw up something into the air, you throw a ball or something like that, whatever kind of favorite sport that you like that uses balls, baseball or something like that, I don't know. Whatever you might use,
Ball
right?
arc.
When
That's
it is
fine.
right there at the top of its arc, it usually does this sort of arch trajectory, right? Right at the top of that arch, it's basically at the minimum sort of that speed, and then it comes back down and it picks up speed. The same deal happens with Orion and ICPS. This spacecraft, right? It doesn't change just because it went up in a rocket. Gravity works the same, right? So the further out that you go, the slower you go. And so it's losing speed, it's trading that for altitude, and so it's going to go up. The orbit, as Ryan was saying, it goes up to 2,222 kilometers. In miles, the burn for the perigee race maneuver, if I'm not mistaken, should be, let me look, because I had it in kilometers, and miles should be, oh my goodness, I had the the number here. It was 1,200, I think. But yeah.
Yeah, like what's going on is we had a bunch of energy in the rocket, but the energy was stored in the form of fuel, right? It was chemical energy. It was stored in the hydrogen. It's stored in the SRBs, the chemicals that make up the SRBs. And what we did is we released all of that energy. We turned that chemical, the potential energy that was stored in the rocket's fuel, we turned it into kinetic energy, right? And we accelerated that rocket. We accelerated all the pieces of it. Then we started dropping pieces. The SRBs were out of fuel, so we got rid of them. Don't carry them anymore. The core stage burned and converted all that chemical energy into kinetic energy, pushing the rocket faster and faster. And then when it was done, it dropped away. And we ended up with the top part of the rocket that has the crew in it. But we took all of that fuel energy and turned it into motion energy, right? Potential versus kinetic. And now what's happening? It's converting back a little bit. The higher it goes, it's taking that kinetic energy we dumped into that vehicle and it's turning back into potential energy. Here, not in the form of chemicals, right? But in the form of altitude, in the form of sort of gravitationally stored energy. The rocket's not gaining or losing energy right now. It's just trading height for speed. And the higher it goes in that elliptical orbit, the more energy is traded into altitude instead of speed. And Alex, like you were saying, if nothing happened, if they didn't do anything, when it got to the top, it would reach the highest point in its trajectory and it would start to come back down to the Earth again, right? Towards the Earth. And there, the equation would flip. It would start trading that potential energy that it's stored in the form of altitude, height above the planet. It would convert that back into kinetic energy, the energy of speed, right? But while it's in space, unless you turn on an engine or dip into the atmosphere, the orbit has a fixed amount of energy and it's just constantly trading the energy back and forth between speed and altitude. It's going to be doing that the entire time as it goes around the moon. The only time it changes is when they turn on engines of some sort and they take more of that stored energy, the chemical energy, and they put it into the rocket as motion. So that's what we're talking about right there.
That may be in chat and they know everything, right? They know all of this. Look at the historic mission, right? Like we're explaining this because you may see the numbers and you may not know. And so now you know that it's completely normal for that to happen.
Good deal. I think now we have got some of the photos from the crew that we can show. We'll leave the animation to do its thing.
Oh, look, we've got a couple on there.
Let's see here. Do we have information in order whose shot each thing is?
I see that bottom one on the right is coming in from Wade.
Oh, yeah.
This one's Julia's. Great image from Titusville.
Yeah, with the crowd in the front there. Thank you. Do people step into the road, it looked like? Is that what I was seeing there?
There's Sawyer's one that's come in. Man of many tricks, who's able to commentate, run over, take a picture, come back to commentate. Sorry, you're amazing.
Thank you. Here's another one.
And this is another of his. Yeah.
That's a cool one.
The amount of detail, because you said it, Alex, that you didn't, or was you or Ryan who said you didn't understand the daylight hype until you saw it. This was the daylight hype.
I believe this is Jerry's picture we're seeing right now.
Yeah. Sawyer, I have a question for you. I don't know if you can answer this. Maybe you were...
By the way, this one...
This is the shot. This is the shot.
It's Max Evans cooked.
Yes,
of course.
I did say to Max, I was like, I want a signed copy of this one. I don't just want a copy, I want it signed because, oh my goodness, what an amazing shot. And then the Gage put this one as well of all the crowds watching. I think it's great.
Gage in a Gage picture?
In frame?
Yeah.
How did he do that? Gage is in the picture watching. There's like an NSF flag on one side and then Gage on the other side and then the plume of the rocket in the background. What witchcraft
one more
is
that I'm
this?
exporting right now. Sorry, Kevin. I'm sending you more stuff even.
More and more coming in. I love it.
Oh, we've got some more of these here.
Enter Houston updated PRM numbers when you're ready to copy.
Ooh, that's important.
All right, Houston, we are ready to copy.
TIG is 2 seconds earlier at 4 9er minutes for 8 seconds. TIGO unchanged at 2-6 seconds.
49, 48, TIGO 26.
I think they're jotting these down.
I am.
Like, are they making notes? You're jotting down.
At the very least.
Aboard the spacecraft.
Either Fisher Space Pens or on the tablets, which they have their iPhones with them. This is the first NASA mission that wasn't on Crew Dragon that has iPhones.
They have to keep them in airplane mode? Or space plane mode?
Space mode. Well,
whatever. Space mode?
Sorry, space or cell phones. They didn't say what brand, even though a certain someone slipped and said that it absolutely was Apple iPhones.
Oh, jeez.
Can I just point something out with this particular photo, which is now available as a print at shop.nasaspaceflight.com? This is from Max. This is incredible. Max has done many of these flag shots before with a Falcon 9 rising in the background. The difference with this, except from the fact that it's SLS and it's like 39,000 kilonewtons of thrust and, you know, stupendous numbers, you can see the plume through the flag in daylight. That is how bright the exhaust of this rocket is. You can see it through a flag in daylight. And the sun is shining on that flag, you can see. That's just incredible.
I got to get to that. I got to bring that up in the shop so I can see it. Oh,
yeah, it also helps that it's right at sunset. And again, because the sun is setting in the west here and we're looking to the east, you get the lighting directly on the rocket. That also illuminates the flag.
For Optimus on the PCD, we have time update instructions when you're ready.
They got to jot down some more space notes real quick.
Space notes.
While they're doing that, can we just mention they've gone beyond that 1,000-mile mark? Isn't that further than anyone's gone since Apollo 17?
We copy. Hands are pretty busy at this time. I think we will call you back when we're ready for that.
All right, that one is not urgent. 2 minutes to maneuver to PRM attitude.
We are watching and concurred. 90 seconds-ish, maybe.
More photos here. I will just say that that is correct. We are now beyond 1,800 kilometers, which means a few minutes ago, we crossed the threshold set by Polaris Dawn. Artemis 2 has officially set the record for the furthest a toilet has ever been from planet Earth.
Hey! But yeah,
a proper
this
toilet.
Yeah, not bags.
This
is a 30-second streak shot, by the way. Sometimes we call these lightsabers, but this is probably a little too wide to be considered one of those. But you, of course, get the streak. But the SRBs, boy, are they dirty, and you see it with that kind of plume coming off the side there.
Is that the motion of the... Because I see that the streak is sort of on one side, right?
Yep.
Is that because the plume is drifting in the wind, or is that because of the pitch maneuver that's occurring?
I mean, the wind is pretty strong, so I wouldn't be surprised if part of it was that. Well, not strong, but was pushing the plume. It could be that.
Sure.
I'm sure part of it is also the rotation of it. But yeah, it's the cool separation on this one. You don't get to see that often.
No kidding. That's a cool idea. Who would have thought to do a streak shot of an SRB during the day?
Houston, MCC polls go for PRM, pending attitude and SAWS.
There we go.
Translate, Alex.
Hey, we copy. MCCs
Waiting.
go.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Maneuver starting.
So I heard an attitude change, which means the spacecraft will basically turn around, right?
The visualization
Rotate, maybe?
person. Anyways, yeah, so they are now rotating to the correct attitude for the perigee race maneuver. So basically, right now, their lowest point in their orbit is just 27 kilometers. And if you do a little math, that's inside the atmosphere, right? So they're going to be doing a very short burn, just 2 minutes and 6 seconds long, of that RL-10 engine on the ICPS on that upper stage, in order to be able to bring that up to about 185 kilometers in altitude. So it's going to be very subtle, very short burn to bring back up that lowest point in the orbit. And it's totally on purpose. Like, it's not that something malfunction or anything. That is done on purpose, because before any of this, there was a huge core stage, that orange thing that was behind that upper stage and the Orion spacecraft. And that one, if they did not do this, will just be basically just space junk in orbit, right? So you need to put that in a certain orbit such that the lowest point is within the atmosphere and be able to dispose of that core stage in a very clean way. Basically not putting it in orbit, unlike the Chinese. Anyways.
Nice.
Yeah, Long March 5B, we know. Oh, and that's right. Yeah, the solar array wings will also tilt. They might have actually already tilt.
I believe they are tilted. It's so difficult to see from this animation.
Yeah.
I believe they are pointing forwards.
Yeah. They are in motion now, apparently. It's what I'm hearing from their updates. And so that's very important, because they do that so that during the burn, there's loads, right? There's a force going through the spacecraft, and also the inertia of the wings themselves and everything of those solar array wings, and so it's very important to keep them in a certain position. Also, the expansion of the plume of the RL-10, it's in near perfect vacuum, basically, up there in space. And so that
sort of goes in all directions, right?
Exactly.
Even though you have a nozzle to push most of it backwards away from the rocket, it wants to go in all directions, so you sort of minimize the impact, right?
Yep, that is correct. So they're tilted forward. Should be about 7 minutes to go for that perigee race maneuver.
Looking at Johnson here, aren't we?
Yep.
Squinting down, but Houston. That wall of patches. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Control, booster. Looking at all the different, because they have their own sort of little panels there indicating, or plaques, I guess, indicating which position is which.
We've got a flyover camera with a screen behind them. Is that a screen, or is that actually in the open over there?
Yeah, that's literally out there.
Yeah.
Okay, it looked like a screen for a second, but
I think it looks like a screen because they're in a tent, and it makes everything else dark.
We have another person here from NSF under a tent out there in the field, an actual person.
Who? I don't know who you're talking about here. I want to meet them.
Sawyer?
I want to meet them. Maybe they know some astronauts or something.
Sawyer, they have a cooler tent than you do.
Yeah.
It looks more expensive than ours.
Yeah, there we go. That's better. Put the camera lens to the top. Focus on the camera. Focus on me. No, I'm kidding. But this is. That shared moment with everyone of, yeah, we just did that. We as humanity just did that. Oh, I can't. It's too exciting.
Sounds like there's some people in the background talking about how amazing it was.
That was Dr. Cyan Proctor, who we had earlier.
Oh, nice. Okay. She was hanging out next to y'all over there.
Integrity Houston, we see Orion in attitude and Saws in position for PRM.
We see the same on board. Looking good, Stan.
More good call outs here. Again, we're going to stay live for another 2 hours plus 2 hours and 15 minutes or more here. There's still a lot going on in the mission. We still have more shots. At some point, we're going to have some replays for you as well. But we're hanging out. Like, this is not the end of the show right now. So all the folks who have been here with us, we will continue to listen in to the updates. But also, if you've been supporting what we've done, apparently a lot of people like pins because the pins evaporated whenever we allowed them to be bought by the public. The members bought about half the pins we had produced. We didn't know how many to get. And the members made half of them disappear before the public could even touch them. And as soon as we let the public get them, in a matter of minutes, they were gone. The original set that we had ordered, that we had produced, were gone. So we made the decision. There's so many people who want to commemorate this, and there were so many people interested in the pins. We made the decision to open the orders back up, even though we had sold out of stock. We put it on the screen. It said it was a pre-order for the people who ordered once we were out of the initial stock. But we're going to go back to the pin company, and we're going to get more pins made because we didn't want to tell people, hey, sorry, you weren't fast enough. You didn't get a commemorative SLS, Artemis 2, et cetera, pin. Now, we do still have plenty of patches. We're used to people liking the patches and buying lots of the Starship patches when we do those. So if you want to get a Artemis and Artemis 2 patch, those are still available. They're still in stock and shipping right now, but they are rapidly disappearing. I just want to say that real quick. If you went over to the shop, you did see the first pins that were ordered. If you ordered when it said that they were not pre-order, we do have those first pins in stock, and we'll get those out to you as soon as we can. But we didn't want to turn away some hundreds of people, so we swapped it back over. We're going to get back in touch with the company. We're going to get some more pins expedited, so everybody who wanted a pin can have a pin. And for the patches are selling out, but we still have patches in stock because this thing went. It actually launched. And I imagine some folks will want to commemorate that by having a piece of memorabilia here from us. Now, if patches and pins aren't your thing, or maybe they are, a lot of these images we've been showing you, like the flag shot and the liftoff shots, we are working as fast as we can to put those into the shop. So you saw a couple of those. You saw the liftoff shot there as well. But that is another fantastic way to support what we do. On those, the photographer that took the shot actually gets part of that. You help them get some basically funding for cameras and stuff so they can extend their capabilities. So if you want to pick up one of those prints, we're still putting more and more prints in the shop. Some of them are up there already, and of course those are created on demand. Those are going to be in stock. You can get them whenever you want. Of course, we have all the other stuff, the t-shirts, the patches, the mugs and stuff like that you can grab as well. But the sun shirts. Did anybody even see the SLS sun shirt that's like the Sophie orange in the middle and then the arms are SRPs? I don't think that anybody really pointed out that that's what that sun shirt was. So in any event, we do appreciate y'all. I don't want to say it too much, but that is why we're able to bring you this coverage. That's why we're able to do what we do, because y'all keep showing up and you like having cool stuff to put on your walls. You want like a assembly, like how to put together SLS. Well, now we're going to have to make one of these that's like how SLS disassembles itself while it launches. Like the parts come off of it as it sends the astronauts on their way around the moon. What's up, Alex?
Seems missing like raise burn has occurred, I believe, is what Alex was trying to say.
Correct.
Burn seems to have been completed. That's what we like to hear.
Right. Chat, can y'all hear Alex right now? I think what's going on is like everybody has glommed onto the internet and is doing a bunch of uploading. So if y'all can hear Alex, let us know. If you didn't hear Alex and you heard Sawyer repeat what Alex had said.
If you can relay that
do we have Alex back now?
PRG raise maneuver is done.
Okay, now, starting now, did y'all hear Alex? And now people are saying, now it's back and forth because there's like some cross in people's delay. So I think we've got some people saying Alex is back.
Milan, no, we will not let you go.
Then.
Let him go.
Okay. Alex, you're allowed to talk again.
But yeah, PRG race maneuver is done.
That's what all the hoopla was
all
about.
Of that, just for that. All of that for that.
We needed Alex to say that.
I'm listening. I'm still listening into updates.
Oh.
Yeah, sometimes I stop because I'm still listening to updates, so I'm sorry. But yeah, PRG race maneuver complete.
Of course, that's not the only burn that they're going to be doing. The next burn is the apogee raise maneuver, the other side of the orbit, and that will be happening in just under 1 hour's time. And that will push Orion and the ICPS into the super elliptical orbit. That's not a real term, but I just made that up. But that'll be a 70,000 by 0 kilometer orbit, which is incredibly elliptical. And after that, they will separate from the ICPS and do their proximity operations.
Now, we're saying what that is, but what does that actually mean? I mean, raising the perigee is an important thing here, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so to try and explain it in the simplest terms possible, an orbit is essentially a loop around a planetary body or a loop around a thing. So the orbit around the Earth is their loop around Earth. And, you know, the orbits, no matter how hard you try, they're very rarely perfectly circular. They're going to be an elliptical shape. And you're going to have a part that's closer to Earth and a part that's further away from Earth. The side of the orbit, the point of the orbit which is closest to Earth, that's called the periapsis. For Earth, it's perigee. For the Loon, it's perilune. And for the sun, it's perihelion. There are many different suffixes you can add to that word, but the lowest point is the periapsis. The highest point is the apoapsis. And when we talk about the Earth, we say perigee and apogee because G is the moon. Someone in language decided hundreds of years ago. So that's what we're referring to, the lowest part of the orbit and the highest part of the orbit. Before the perigee raise maneuver, the lowest part of the orbit was within the atmosphere, which meant that if they didn't do that, Orion would re-enter this orbit. But now they've raised the perigee so that the Orion spacecraft will not re-enter on this orbit. When they raise the apogee, that will send the highest part of the orbit even further into space than it is already. Right now, it's over 2,200 kilometers. They're going to raise that to 70,000 kilometers. So that is, 35 times further away from the planet than they were before, at their highest point. Looks like we're getting a live view from inside the Mission Control Center in Johnson in Houston, because, of course, at the point of liftoff, control is handed over from the Launch Control Center in Kennedy to Mission Control in Houston, as has been done many times throughout the shuttle and Apollo era. I always love it when they go through the launch and it's like Houston now controlling. Sounds so cool.
I like all the little numbers and everything on those screens, because there's things, for example, eclipse start. That is when the next.
Integrity Houston on Tidris West. White
when the next.
Receiving data.
Don't leave us hanging.
Sorry,
I don't know,
more updates.
You can listen. I don't know if anybody else, but I was following on with the NASA real-time mission website, and it seems like it's crashed. Like I'm not getting.
Capcom Stan Lowe, SN team here in Mission Control Houston. We changed over to point to one of the tracking and data relay satellites at the expected time.
That's the handover we talked about earlier. But yeah, I was looking at all of the little numbers and everything, and like, for example, there's a countdown there to the apogee race burn, the mission elapsed time, and also the map. You can see that the perigee race burn that we were talking about earlier, that one happened over the Indian Ocean, east of Madagascar. It's a place that if you followed Starship might be very familiar to you.
I will just say, instead of the animation, I do wish NASA could also just show us the map. That would be nice.
Yes, please.
But, we'll make do with having to... Yes, exactly. I guess for now, we'll make do with squinting at the mission control camera, but it would be nice to see the map, alongside the animation, so we can have both.
It's like we're getting our live telemetry updates by squinting down to 2010 and reading the mission control screens.
Yeah, exactly. They've got some wonderful patches on the wall, though, if you look in the top left.
Yeah, the mission logos, the mission designs, emblems, whatever. They're patches, but they're big, like, printouts on the wall.
Yeah.
Hey guys, you want some insight here from the field team? I got someone with me.
Sure.
Yes.
I mean, go ahead, I guess.
Yeah, go for it.
Hi, DOS. Hello, everybody. Happy post-launch. Happy Artemis 2 launch.
It's
my
Max.
Goodness.
How you doing,
DOS? Oh, dude. I'm still pinching myself. Like, you could not ask for better conditions to launch a rocket in from Florida.
Yeah.
Like, that was a treat beyond anything. Like, dude, opening of the window, first attempt, and they're off to the moon. Well, not yet.
Yeah. Well,
not yet.
They're in the orbit that, if all goes well, will eventually let them go to the moon.
Correct.
Or about to be. Yeah.
They're about to be.
That was.
I don't know. This is like you've sort of left your driveway, but you're still in your neighborhood, and you're not on the freeway yet, right? You're not like going to Dallas or whatever. You're still in your neighborhood, but soon you'll be on the freeway to Dallas.
I swear to God, DOS.
They're still circling the block right now.
Oh my God.
It's a good analogy.
It is a good analogy, yes.
Yeah.
And they'll be there until about T plus, what is it, 1 day and...
About a day and a half.
A day and a half? Okay.
Ish, yeah. I know someone has the actual timeline up. We're kind of still just recovering.
Dude. Yeah, and I had to go pick up cameras at the pad.
Oh my god!
At 8:30.
No kidding.
Some of them, right?
Some of them, yeah. We're picking up outside the gates first, and then we're going inside the pad tomorrow.
Oh, you hear that?
So,
you hear the pictures that are going to be coming?
So,
hey, do you have to handle your camera with gloves because of the SRBs, or is that just an Atlas thing?
Well, it's an Atlas thing a lot because of just the proximity your cameras are in towards the flame trench. I don't think that's going to be an issue at 39B. I think we're going to be far enough away.
Probably you're just far enough away that you don't get the spicy residue that makes your fingers tingle when you pick up the cameras.
Fingles?
Yes, your fingers tinger. Exactly.
It's a thing.
It's true, though. For those who don't know, the SRVs, especially the GEM 63s and 63XLs, which they use over on Vulcan and Atlas, they are very, again, they will make your fingers tingle if you touch them because they're so caustic. But you have to rinse your tripods afterwards, or else it will continue to linger.
Correct.
So hopefully we don't have that here. Again, I never got to set remotes during shuttle, so I couldn't answer on that one. But
I think it was dependent on like wind direction and how close your cameras were to the pad, but they weren't that close to be in danger, I don't think. But I could be wrong. We'll find out tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of direction,
One way to find
lighting
out.
direction, Max, we were just talking about that right before. We're like, hey, let's both hop on. That lighting was beyond perfect.
That reminded me of Starship Flight 6, which was the first afternoon window, and New Glenn Flight 2.
Yes. Although this was even better, I think, than New Glenn 2. The sun was a little bit lower, which just...
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
And no atmospheric distortion whatsoever. It was wonderful.
Yeah, yesterday I was taking photos beforehand, and I'm like, oh, God, the heat haze is terrible on this. And then today I'm looking at the photos like, oh, my gosh, you can read the logos on it.
I saw some of Dee's slow-mo footage from the rig, and I don't know if we've shown it yet or not. I've been so busy trying to get photos done.
We're working on it.
Yeah, it's friggin' I'm trying not to use a bad word there. It's friggin' spectacular.
Yeah. We try and stay family friendly here, but my gosh, it is hard when you get something that exciting happening. And I mean, you've seen hundreds of launches at least here?
I'm over 300 now.
Yeah. How does I want to know how that compares.
On the spot, like right after it happened, golly.
That's the perfect time to ask. I'm sure you'll reflect later on, but while it's still fresh.
Top 10 for sure.
Nice.
Although it almost went too perfect in the fact that, like, oh my God, it went at the opening of the window on the first try. It's like, that's not supposed to happen.
No, within 10 or 15 minutes of the window, try one. All the naysayers, all the Ryan Webbers out there who are saying it wouldn't go on the first try.
Yeah. Hey, folks, there's a little bit of breaking information here that we need to pass along. We were doing a little bit of a handover there, but Alex, can you fill us in on the comms hiccup that's happening right now?
Yeah, they're getting some downlink they're getting data, obviously, from the spacecraft, but they're having a comms issue, a communications issue with the crew, where they cannot get downlink communications. They're sort of communicating with the crew in the blind, as they call it. They think it is a ground issue with the hardware. They did that handover, right, that we were talking about earlier to the other satellite. And so, yeah, they sort of were not able to log in with that comms network. But yeah, they're restarting the hardware, probably the usual. See, they have video. Look at that.
Oh.
See?
Look at that.
So they have video, of course. But yeah, it's just communication side of things, like, talky talk, basically. So they think that the crew can hear them, right? When they sort of give them different call outs and things like that. They usually say in the blind.
Yep.
But yeah.
So when you say in the blind, that means that like the ground is sending messages to the spacecraft, but they're just not getting their response back from the spacecraft. They're getting other telemetry. They're just not getting the voice comms, right?
They regain.
Where do we go, Alex?
There we go.
My name's Adrian, and I'm the co-founder of Dragonfruit Media. We're using whiteboards every day to transform the way we bring videos to life. As a fully remote agency, whiteboards let us collaborate in real time to turn our clients' ideas into a gripping title and thumbnail, a captivating script, and finally, a viral sensation.
Copied all.
There we go. Yeah, they had 2 different callouts to the crew in the blind, as they called them, sort of expecting them to receive them, but not getting an okay from the crew back, right? Because they had that comms issue, but they thought, again, that the crew will be hearing the ground, but the ground will not be able to hear the crew. So they send those callouts to them, and the crew reports that, yes, they heard those and they copy. And so, yeah, a little hiccup, but hey, it happens.
Gotcha. All right. So sounds like that was solved. It sounded like they literally turned it off and turned it on again, and it came back. But I believe we have yet another member of our team, somebody you haven't heard from yet on the show today, Chris Bergen. Do we have Chris on comms right now?
I am. So that happened, didn't it? I told you,
so
Alex,
that
didn't it?
happened.
Alex, I was telling our team that they're all going, Chris, I don't think this is going to launch first time. I'm going, everybody, just calm down a second and listen to my experience with Space Shuttle. Never a scrub. Always launches without issue time. Just trust the process. It'll launch first time. And they'll go, Chris, I'm not too sure. I'll go, you'll see. And I was right.
Right,
no,
Chris, right.
You know what? I'll be honest, chat. No, I've got to be honest with chat. Chat, I was saying there is no chance this is launching first time because it's a crew launch. It's a very important launch. Anything even slightly wrong, they're not going to take any chances, as they didn't. The fact that it all went so smoothly is absolutely baffling. Everything went really well. Even the issues in the countdown were minor. There was no sign of any tankage leakage. The LH2 behaved itself, the seals behaved itself, and the TSMUs. And that's without a wet dress rehearsal. We're all saying, well, not all, but some of us, including myself, were saying once they rolled back out from the VAB for the launch attempt, I would have expected at least an integrity test, just to test the seals after a rollout 3 miles down a crawlaway. They didn't do it, didn't feel the need to do it. That's why they work for NASA. They know what they're doing. And look what's happened. We've had this amazing launch. It doesn't feel real to me still. It's weird. I've been doing all these clips on X and whatever. It doesn't feel real yet. Yeah, it's surreal. I'm not going to be the most articulate person in the world right now, but that was brilliant.
Did you expect that to be a thing? I mean, the count seemed smooth. There were a couple little issues, but they worked right through the issues, and they just went. Was that super surprising to you?
Very. I've how many have I watched? I've lost track. I can't tell you exactly how many shuttle launches I've watched, but I mean, if I'm going back to just watching as a fan, literally, I've watched tens and tens and tens of shuttle launches. I've seen many scrubs. STS-93, everyone goes on about the Yank Schubert concur. STS-93 had a scrub where they aborted at T-minus 7 seconds. There's things like that happen quite a lot with the space shuttle program. There's many missions where they took 5 attempts to launch, and this is a vehicle they've got a lot of experience with. So again, the second flight of a brand new vehicle with that hardware, that does not equate to me as a first time launch. It could not compute in my head. This will be launching first time. So all praise to the teams. They've found an issue during the wet dress rehearsal. They've fixed it. They're taking it back out, and the 101 other things that could have gone wrong didn't go wrong. It's incredible, really.
101. It's like 1,001 with rockets sometimes, but seems like they've got it. They had it sort of dialed in. Everything that popped up, they worked right through it. We heard about the battery issue. We heard about the range issue. We heard about the fuel pressure issues after launch. We had that prop call out. But they just come up to a hiccup and they address it and they decide if they can go forward. And today, every single thing, they were able to proceed, huh?
They did.
I also noted that the Launch Control Center had a much calmer call-outs. It's kind of strange to say, but there's many a time I've heard, like STS-93, hold, give hold. It was kind of like you could feel the stress in their voices, and they were talking through the issues, and you could hear the stress. It was all professional, but still some stress in their voices. when they were working through that issue before they went to the go for terminal count, it was all nice and calm. I was like, yeah, this seems like we've got good comms now. Are we go for launch now? NTD, yes, we'll go for launch now. Yeah, it was a lot calmer. And that's professionalism again. But also it gives you a lot of confidence that whatever they were working through was not a big showstopper. It was just something they wanted to clear before they gave Charlie Blackwell Thompson the NTD poll, which was the poll before the actual go for launch, for her to give the actual permission to come out of the terminal count.
It almost sounded to me sometimes like, I don't want to say surprised, but that's the best word I have. Like whoever was saying the thing was like, all right, well, I guess we're going. Like everything was just getting worked out. And it wasn't like there were no ums or ahs or, well, I don't know, we're going to have to discuss that and we'll come, there wasn't any of that sort of hesitation. They understood what was happening. And if they didn't, they got the data and they looked through it and they made a call and they kept going. There wasn't a lot of wishy-washiness, was there?
No, it just felt spot on. And that's part of the surrealism of this all, is that it went so smoothly. Because if they wanted to do like a CGI version of this launch, that's how it would have been. If they wanted to basically do like a movie where they could make it up as they go along and just say, this is what we think is a perfect launch, they could have done it like this. There was none of the unsuspecting things that you normally get with this kind of launch. Yeah, I'm just watching that
Chris,
as well.
we're rolling replays here.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the camera, this one's absolutely nuts.
With the sun.
Also, the moonrise as well, right?
Yeah, the moon is rising.
On the top left.
The moon's rising, yeah.
Oh my God, look at
right
that.
through the sun.
That's so close.
So this was actually one of the spots that you could have put remote cameras. I didn't this time. I thought it was not a good angle, but
except for the whole sun.
Yeah,
Ooh,
right.
From
Yeah,
the tower.
right.
Look at this.
Yeah, it'll shake. Look at that! Look at that vibration! Oh my gosh!
The
Rocket's
passing
flying
shot
by.
is
That's so cool.
This is, if you're new to the show, this is the part where knock the camera down. This is the part where we all giggle like schoolgirls while we watch these replays over and over again. Feel free to join us.
I took a photo of it earlier. Hopefully we get to see it in one of the replays. I don't know if you noticed, but the slide wire basket's activated.
Yeah.
So there's shots of just the rocket going off with the slide wires sliding. Oh, this one.
And this is the benefit of launching in the daytime. You actually can expose for all these elements properly, and it looks absolutely insane.
Wait for the boom. Boom.
There.
Oh!
Look at that.
And then there
they
goes
like
the
camera.
Damn, the camera died.
Whoa! You can see the sparklers.
That's so cool.
Are those cracks in the lens now?
That looks like it.
That's awesome.
I can give a bit of an L2 pimp here because we've got what's called QVIS videos, the collection of QVIS videos from the Space Shuttle program. We've got like 5 of them.
Yeah.
They're like 2-hour long tapes of about 30 to 40 camera angles, engineering cameras. And
watch
they're
by the top
amazing
of the rocket.
to see.
Yeah, the slide wire baskets came down. It was kind of funny.
Yeah, right near where the crew capsule is there.
It's one of our shots from the press site, right?
Yeah.
And
I do wonder. Hang on.
There they go.
Can we rewind there?
What do they do? They're going.
Did you notice?
We are going. And
they're in
slide wire baskets
they're in the little hole.
Did you notice that they came off at T0 at the same time as the umbilicals?
Yep.
I think that might have been planned.
Maybe.
Oh, to try and prevent them from getting damaged?
But also at T0, the bang of the solids lighting could have shaken them enough to set them loose.
Normally it takes a good smack against it with your hand to set it running.
Chris, look at that replay.
Oh my gosh.
It looks like a shuttle launching.
Yeah.
I have to ask
the
Sawyer,
AV roof.
Sawyer, you gave some great words earlier after the launch, and I really enjoyed it, what you were talking about. I have to ask you, how much more noise and vibration did you feel compared to a space shuttle launch? Because there is more power involved here.
Much more. I mean, you get the 4 RS-25s, the 5-segment boosters. You really felt the punch on this one. And like I was saying earlier, the big thing with this is you get the loudness of the SRBs and the rumble to begin with. Then with all of the buildings that are behind where we were, you had it bouncing off behind you and then hitting you in the back. So you're getting vibrations constantly from all angles all around you. It is a sensory overload in the best way possible. And like I mentioned, somehow it got to the shuttle level loudness and kept going.
Nice.
Can I say something controversial?
11. Probably.
Uh-oh.
I wasn't overwhelmed by the noise.
Really?
Like, I'm not saying it was quiet. I'm not saying it was quiet by any means, but I wasn't shaken the way I thought I might be. But also, that could have just been me drowning in my own focus, looking at my camera, making sure I didn't leave frame. So
yeah, I mean, I had sweat rolling into my eyes tracking it, but I mean, I get it. Artemis 1, I think, was a little bit louder because of just how moist the air was.
Oh, yeah,
it was
100%.
so humid.
100%.
So that one packed more of the physical punch, but I still felt this was an auditory. I mean, especially when you compare it to other things that launched from the Cape. I can't compare it to Starship, but compared to other things that launched from the Cape, it blows it out of the water.
And you know what? If we go back to another pad replay, there wasn't much of an overpressure.
No, you're right.
There wasn't an overpressure.
Like the shockwave that comes from the pad, what you're talking about?
Like the one we saw on Artemis 1, right?
Yep.
You could
And many missions with shuttle. There wasn't that big old shockwave.
The one that destroyed the elevators on mobile launcher for Flight 1.
Yep.
Max, same question then, because you can do that comparison with Starship versus SLS. I know the difference in distances involved here, but just a comparison, because we were talking 33 liquid engines and we're talking 4 big powerful RS-25s and 2 solids. But how would you compare the two?
Well, I've always said Starship, for some reason, crackles like big solid rocket boosters, like SLS, and I couldn't figure out, like, if that was just me getting in my own head. Was I exaggerating? And that the first characteristic that came into my head when the sound of the solids hit the press site, it sounded and felt like Starship. Like it literally had the same amount of crackle, maybe a bit higher pitched here. Starship is very low pitched for what it is, but Starship. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
it's really at the risk of sounding like super cliche. Starship still takes the cake here, but that's not to say SLS is a slouch by any means necessary. Not. It's just not. It was. You still felt that just as much as you heard it today, though. That was remarkable, and I think I was listening to Jerry's audio before coming over here and hopping on with Sawyer, and the mic picked it up very well.
I'd say you could tell the different ages. You could tell who's the shuttle guy and who is the newer guy.
The newer guy.
Well,
the newer guy.
Newer space. I'm old is what I'm saying. I'm very old. I was here for shuttle.
The newer guy, folks.
You're old. Good grief.
My name's Sawyer. I was credentialed for STS 135. Nah.
I wasn't. Actually, one thing that I did, I noticed that the plume looked very similar to the one from shuttle. And there's a photo of me with the shuttle launching, and I dad and sure. And you could see the plume rising behind me from where the shuttle was. Took the exact same photo. So I have a comparison of years with the plume.
Nice.
It's
gosh.
surreal.
So RS-25s, boom, there's the solids. There wasn't an overpressure.
No.
Or minimal if there was.
Oh my God, that's so gorgeous, dude.
And
do you think there
are
wasn't
wondering what we're talking about here?
Yeah.
People wondering what we're talking about here. I wish just look back on many shuttle launch replays. You will see what a real kind of like shockwave leaving the mobile launch deck, and it just comes away. Real ignition or SRB ignition. Yeah, it's something you see every single time. You don't see it there.
No, you don't.
That's crazy.
Maybe this might be too much asking. Can we prepare that from Artemis 1 from our coverage? Because I remember we saw it. Like the overpressure was visible in our stream.
Yep, it was unmissable. Yeah.
I wonder if it's like the atmospheric conditions, because y'all are talking about how clear it was, like not a lot of haze today. I wonder if there's like a humidity density thing that makes that more apparent or make it appear.
I was also going to say, Das, that's a really good point, because there wasn't any sort of vapor cone as it went transonic into supersonic speeds today either. Like there wasn't even a hint of one, and that really only happens when there's a lot of moisture in the air, and there obviously it's lovely outside right now. It's not humid whatsoever, hence the lack of haze in the imagery. Like it was so clear. Yep. So that probably also had something to do with it. but it just looked a lot less violent. Not so much from not just from a lack of shockwave, but it seemed like the ML didn't shake as much. Maybe we just need to see some closer up angles of how the
Max.
Look at the top.
Yeah.
Look in the top right.
Max. Look.
That's Orion. That's Earth.
And that's Earth.
Oh my God.
My God.
He said the thing.
He said the thing.
He did the thing.
Wait, but if that's a fisheye lens, the Earth is curving the wrong way, isn't it?
Oh,
Shouldn't
don't
a fisheye
start.
make it curve the other way?
There are 25,000 people watching. Don't do this.
No, I'm telling you that if that curve was caused by a fisheye lens, it would curve the other way.
Oh, so you're saying it's real?
Yes, I'm saying it's real.
Okay.
What do you mean the Earth's round? Like, what are you talking about?
Good grief.
What do you mean the Earth's round?
Look at that, though. That's too
Dude,
cool.
what a good day it's been, huh?
Yeah.
There's even more replays
6
still
minutes?
happening here.
Oh yeah, Sawyer, you got to run.
I am going to
out
head
there.
on up to the briefing room if they're doing it in 6 minutes. I'll be back.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Sawyer was responding. We had a notice.
This is slow-mo. This is slow-mo.
Press
It's slow-mo.
conference. So Sawyer's going to the press conference.
There's the
Yes, so he's going to the press conference. I'll be hanging out for a few more minutes before I head off to camera pickup.
Wow.
Look at
No
that.
pressure, but you can see the ripples there.
Oh, yeah.
Look at
from
the ripples.
Yeah.
And there go the
And you
baskets.
And you can tell if you look at the exhaust plume and the difference in coloration. Well, not anymore, but the difference in coloration between the white and like the brown orange, you can tell which was the RS-25 from the Deluge and the SRBs.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's so cool.
There is
Look at
no
the
plume of fire
waves
like
moving
two big old
downwards.
solid rocket boosters.
Like you can see waves going through the exhaust. It's like the velocity of the exhaust itself, like the smoke, and then the velocity of the energy moving through it. That's nuts.
Are we sure the baskets aren't meant to do that? To kind of protect themselves from the actual plume?
They run
Yeah,
away
that's what
from
Alice
the
was
launch.
just saying.
I wouldn't be surprised
don't know.
if that was planned.
Yeah.
But if that was planned, why wouldn't they do it earlier?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe
Well, you never know.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they abort and they need to do an evacuation and bring out the arm again, like if they do like a T-2 minute scrub and then suddenly they have to evacuate, like they need the slide wire baskets there. I'm going to ping Sawyer and see if he can bring up that question in the press conference because
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah. Because I mean, they'd have to get all the way out of the rocket and then get over to the slide baskets, and it seems
Open
I don't know.
two
We should
hatches. Yeah, it's clumsy.
Yeah. We should ask for an official answer to where the basket's supposed to go. I'm sure that's what everybody wants to know. Like our pressing question about the moon mission, humanity's return to the moon is. Hey, were those
the slide baskets?
It's like I'm sure the crew is fine, but the slide wire baskets.
To be honest, I have a lot of questions about the things that we heard right in the lead up to the launch, because of course there were a few issues that they worked on, and I will be interested to know a bit more of that information. And hey, it's a post-launch press conference. That's the point to ask about those, right? Like, hey, when this happened, what was going on? Can you give us a little bit more of information? The baskets, etc. Right? Like, especially when everything is going smoothly. What else are you gonna ask?
Yeah, if those are the questions we need to ask, you can tell that it's been a good, smooth mission. Like, there's nothing big for it. It's like, hey, did you install those toilet filters or not? Like, what's going on with the toilet filters? And by the way, the baskets, we saw them slide. Was that a big deal or not? Like, if those are the questions that we have, it's been a good mission so far, right?
Yeah, 100%.
I can bring something else up on 39B. Originally, the plan for Ares, the silly rocket, was for that roller coaster emergency egress system. Yeah, the roller coaster that was pretty much like a Disney ride, and it actually had Disney engineers working on the project. That's no lie. That's a true story. I've seen the PDF. Yep, it had actual Disney engineers working on it. Straight up. And it was literally one massive roller coaster that would basically hook up onto the mobile launcher once it had arrived at the pad. And it had literally roller coaster carts that would just go like a complete drop and then go along the track into the actual bunkers.
That's awesome. I've seen like the renders or whatever of that.
Yeah,
what better
NASA
place?
renders
Like,
as well.
yeah, from Florida, they take the roller coaster engineers and they have them design the emergency escape system. Hey, real quick, y'all, we are standing by for the post-launch press conference. We are going to share that with you here, and we are not going to run our mouths over it. We've done quite a bit of talking so far, but we do plan to pipe that press conference in here for you to watch. And then there may be an event afterwards as well. We should get a crew downlink that might or might not be like immediately after the press conference or part of the press conference. It's not exactly clear right now, but we're going to bring you that as well. We're not going anywhere. We're going to let you listen in to the post-launch press conference happening in just a couple of minutes here, but we are not going to be here talking while the press conference happens. We'll let the press conference speak for itself. It's a press conference. That's what they're supposed to do. So,
I was going to say, because this is a very bad timing, they still have the Apogee race burn, and it's going to happen during the press conference.
Well, good.
NASA, you should
We'll get a
plan
live
better.
update. Yeah, we'll get a live update from the press conference.
It might not check the
Alex, you
building
should
info,
interrupt the press conference with the ooh, ooh, ooh.
Oh.
You'll probably
We're
get the
all
update
very-
while on the conference.
Yeah, we're all very excited about everything, especially the replays. But is that starting here? I hear some beeping near Sawyer, maybe.
Oh my
What is
God.
that?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. This is the footage I was talking about with D. Look at this.
What is this? Is D?
Yes. Yes.
Oh my
What?
goodness.
That's rather nice.
It's rather
Just
nice.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right.
It's all right.
Not bad, that.
It's I guess.
It's decent, Ryan. It's decent.
Decent.
Yeah. Goodness me.
That's bonkers.
You can say that again, Chris.
You
Yeah,
never got
right?
that during
Look at
show
this.
either. I mean, they had fancy cameras for sure, but not like this.
What is this? Somebody explain this to
Wow.
me. What are we looking at?
A rocket flying sideways because it's why is it cropped this way? Actually, hang on.
Is this liftoff or was this filmed for like TikTok or something?
I think D may have mounted the camera 90 degrees offset so we could get as much of the plume as possible. I'm sure this is, knowing D, this is probably like 4K or something, so we can rotate it and crop in. But,
what FPS is this, though? Look how slow the exhaust is moving.
It might
I will tell you.
Yeah.
Go on, Max.
Go ahead. Oh, okay. I think D was telling me this is. I can't tell. I think this might be around 1,500 frames a second. I want to say.
That's the new camera.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I was going to
400 frames
say
a second.
this footage is bonkers out of my mind. It's recorded in a file format I genuinely have never heard of before.
High-speed footage for the win.
.mp3.
Nope. Oh my God. Booster burnout.
That
Give me those
was
Sidewinder motors. Yes, look at this.
a super secret NSF Skunk Labs project. Because of support, we had upgraded some of the equipment to some new higher frame rate stuff. And D had been running some of that, so we'll get more information. But we do have like NSF Labs projects, and a lot of times we don't talk about them until we see some of the results. But that might have been some of the results right there.
I think so.
I'm happy to report that Sawyer Rosenstein has arrived at the press conference and he has the question, what happened to the slide wire baskets?
Nice.
Wonderful.
Only the most important topics.
First question. Yep.
Yeah, right up front.
Of a Marcia done.
He better be waving his hand around like crazy. Like me. It's the last slide wire baskets, please.
Baskets.
The best. Well, it is 8:03 p.m. I need to head off for remote camera pickup. I love y'all. I will talk to you guys later.
All right, good deal, Max. Folks, Max Evans was out there, set remote cameras, was taking shots. The flag shot that you saw, the print with the flag shot, SLS going behind the American and the the Artemis flag.
Pinned in chat, by the way. Pinned in chat.
It's pinned in chat. Thank you, Chris. Thank you. That was Max's shot. So to support what Max does, to support what we do, you can pick up a copy of that flag shot. You can put it on your wall, and then you can tell all your friends the Artemisian joke that I just made up on the fly because I didn't know what to call that flag. But whatever.
The really annoying thing for me right now, as we look at this beautiful image of the moon, I assume that's either over KSC or over Starbase, where we have our robotic cameras. The moon, the full moon, is meant to be like center in my office window right now. It is like it's cloudy. This is England. It's cloudy. But the annoying thing is I can see the glow in the clouds, but I can't see the moon. We can see it from KSC though.
I want to go outside and see if I can see the moon here, but I doubt that I can see the moon here. Because that's where we're going. That's where we're going. That's why it's got the moon shot, because that's where we're going, to the moon. Right, Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, we have launch pad on the left, or where it was built on the left, and destination on the right. This is I think, unlike, when we cover the International Space Station crew launches, this is the first time we're able to show the beginning and the destination at the same time with our live cameras.
Zooming around the moon.
Usually
around the moon, going around it.
Exactly. Usually we lose track of the rocket after, 3 or so minutes into flight. This time we can follow it all the way there.
Nice. We still have the live views down there in the bottom. Every now and then we get the little hiccups, but I'll take it. And we got the mission clock there with the flag raising, and then we got the moon up there, and we got the VAB. A little bit of information. It sounds like the presser is a little bit delayed here, so we'll keep hanging out with you while we wait for the presser to start. But as soon as the presser starts, we'll pipe it in and get an update on how things are going.
They're waiting for a basket expert to arrive on the panel.
They delayed the whole conference until they could adequately address the hot topic of baskets.
Of course. Be first question.
It should be.
In the room.
It's the basket in the room. Are there really still 23,000 people watching this stream? Is that a thing?
Yep.
As they should, because they're still going. If you miss this, you're missing it. The mission's still going.
Well, folks, if you haven't yet, this is what we do. If you ever want to come hang out with us, if you want to put us up on your TV or whatever, we're NSF. We're independent space nerds. You know the buttons to click, like save the channel, sub to the channel, whatever, turn on the notifications. We upload stuff multiple times a week. We cover just about every launch we can get to live. We have sort of a rule. If we can get our camera to the launch, we don't just like regurgitate the footage from SpaceX or whatever, right? We take our own cameras. We have our own commentary. We don't just like rely on the provider's footage anytime we can do that. But we cover all the Starship testing that's happening as well. If you're a fan of Starship, you want to know what's going on with that part of the Moon/Mars project that SpaceX is doing. We've got 24/7 cameras all around Starship. SpaceX Starbase is the name of the place, actually, down there. You can watch those anytime. There's a community of 1,000, 2,000 people that are in there every day just chatting about space stuff. We have 24/7 cameras here at the Cape. You can watch the boosters flight come back into port live. You can chat with other space fans there. If you want to be a part of the community, you want to hang out with us, you are welcome here anytime. Click the button to subscribe to the channel. Click the little thumbs up button if you want. Looks like 15,000 people. Click the thumbs up button. But we are NSF. We're NASAspaceflight.com. That's what we do. And we like making friends. We like having more people hanging out with us whenever we do this sort of stuff. So if you haven't yet, sub on this device, go to your other burner account, sub on that device, send it to your mom and be like, hey, this was cool to watch. Here's a replay. However you do it, if you want to join the community here, we welcome everybody to hang out with our other like-minded space nerds who see replays and go like, no way, that sort of stuff. Do things that NASA probably wouldn't be allowed to do on their stream, So had to toss that in to remind folks. This is not just one launch for us. We do lots of launches. We're always here hanging out. Did I get everything there? Did I miss anything?
Didn't we have a
You did, Daz, but also I will point out something where you mentioned we don't just regurgitate SpaceX's stream. We can even go further than that with our own content. Is that SpaceX at Starbase have our stream, Starbase Live, up on monitors inside Star Factory and the Mega Base. Incredible.
Like SpaceX watches us internally. We hear from all sorts of employees. They're like, "Oh, I watch your show to keep up with what's going on because we're here covering stuff, letting y'all know what's happening with all these different exciting programs." So, oh, McGregor, I forgot about McGregor. You want to see SpaceX test rocket engines every day? We actually designed and installed some off-grid 24/7 cameras near McGregor, so that you can watch SpaceX test 8 to 10 engines a day, because SpaceX doesn't play around. So in any event, we have a ton of fun with this, but that's what we do. Thank you for reminding me there. And the socials as well. I should say the socials. We're not just on YouTube. We're on X. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on like all the different places that you might have an account. We're probably there. We're not on OnlyFans. You can't find us there. Like an Only Rockets or something. That's one we won't be on. But in any event,
went there. You can tell we've been on air for like 12 hours, 13 hours, because he went there.
That's the sort of thing I'd say, Ryan, and then Daz would tell me off.
I'm allowed, though. I can say it. Like, I can approve it. I can approve it for release. Anyways, that's the whole day. That's why we wanted to get Chris in here as well. NSF's been around for 20 plus years. Over 20 years, we started the 21. We started the original like shuttle space nerd forums, right, Chris?
That's right. Yeah, a news site and a forum. We thought that'd be a good idea for a kind of like just a specialist, low kind of like membership kind of like place where people just want to talk about spaceflight can go, rather than getting distracted by all the other nonsense that tend to happen on forums which have multiple subjects, because no one was doing it. And it was a NASA guy who's still on our forum to this day, and a shuttle guy who said to me on the old space.com forums, which no longer exist, you're a journalist, because I was a sports journalist already by the time, just set up a news site, we'll help you, we'll feed you some information, give you some, something to go with, because this was before Return to Flight with the space shuttle program. And they said, we'll get you prepared for it. And it just went from there. And the roller coaster emergency egress system was one of our biggest stories, because in the early days, because it got linked by USA Today, and USA Today gave us a hard link back to our site, and it just really exploded from there.
Nice. It's literally where we came from, like creating a space, where space nerds can hang out together. That's like the idea of the original forums. Like there were folks that worked at NASA and they wanted a place to hang out and chat and share stuff. And that's sort of what it was. It just sort of grew from there, right, Chris?
Yeah, really. It's very organic. There's many forks in the road where it could have easily just like died off or not happened. L2 saved it in the first year because of that explosion of it was $25 a month to host it in the early days. $25 a month, I remember it. And as we basically got bigger and bigger, we had to scale up, and we were like, well, I can't self-fund this. So I said, well, we'll have a subscription area. That's the origins of L2. 1 year into the site's time, we started L2 and people supported it, and that's what paid for the servers, and it just went from there. And there's so many forks in the road. Everybody who's talking on the stream found us via sort of like the organic route.
Yeah,
where we've not gone out literally and sort of like put an advert in aerospace today or whatever it's aviation today. It's literally been organic. The team has grown from being people who have found a site and liked it and then said, well, I'm good at this, and gone from there. I could go through every single one of you, and I'd spend too much time doing it. But that is literally how it's happened, and I've been very fortunate. It's not any credit to me. It's just I've just got lucky.
I don't know that got lucky is the right thing to say, Chris. You made a place that was cool, and people that understood that it was cool. Like they found a place to hang out with people like them. That's literally what we've been doing for over 20 years.
Looks like Ryan might have just...
Could
you did Bandicam, nice. Go ahead, Ryan.
I was just going to say, it looks like a Ryan to ground had a little blip there, but we can see the solar arrays moving on the spacecraft. Looks like we've got video back.
To Earth.
Nice.
This is going to be surreal when it goes around the moon.
Yeah, I mean, you can see this thing articulating.
Yeah. I mean, we'll lose the comms for the dark side of behind the moon, but just the approach to the moon.
Yeah.
The views we're going to get. The moon getting bigger in the window, the saying is. That's going to be absolutely crazy to watch live.
I'm trying to figure out where this camera is. Remember they had the selfie camera on the end of the solar array, like looking back at the spacecraft, but that's not what this is, because the solar array is moving in the foreground.
I can help you out with that one.
Yeah,
so
go ahead.
There's an adapter between the European Service Module and the capsule itself. And
I have all those.
It goes
here.
wide, right?
Uh-huh.
And so, yeah, it's right on that adapter. It's looking down on that adapter.
It's an adapter so that you can plug the European thing into the American thing. That's what I have on all my outlets here.
And that you see, I think that's the start of the press conference.
All right. I think we are still standing by for the press conference. As soon as we get into the meat of the press conference, we are going to pipe that in here. For now, everybody silently chant moon, moon, moon. I don't know if Jack is watching, but that's a Jack thing from, can I say, from back in the day. But we will get you all that press conference as soon as it gets into the meaty parts here. And honestly, a little while ago, we stopped going through the support. The support continues to come in. People joining the membership program.
Miss 2 Post-Launch News Conference. I'm Bethany Stevens, Senior Advisor and Press Secretary, and I will be your moderator today. I am joined by Administrator Jared Isaacman, Associate Administrator Amit Kshatriya, Acting Associate Administrator for the Exploration System Development Mission Directorate, Dr. Lori Glaze, and Director of Flight Operations, Norm Knight. Administrator Isaacman will give opening remarks, and then we will open the floor to questions. If you are dialing in to be with us here today, please press *1 to get in the queue. And with that, Administrator.
Thanks, Bethany. Good evening, everyone. So today, April 1st, 2026, 6:35 p.m., NASA's Space Launch System rocket lifted off the pad with 8.8 million pounds of thrust, carrying the Orion spacecraft and the Artemis II crew out to Earth orbit and beginning America's grand return to the moon. Now, about 51 minutes into the flight, during a planned handover between satellites, the Orion spacecraft underwent a communications issue, leading to a temporary partial loss of comms. The uplink from Capcom to the crew was being heard by the crew, but we could not hear their responses for a brief period of time. There were no issues with the vehicle itself. Comms with the crew have been restored. We're actively working the issue, and we'll keep you informed. The Orion spacecraft has successfully separated from the core stage, and its solar arrays have been deployed as planned. Soon, the crew will execute the apogee raise burn, placing the spacecraft into a stable, high Earth orbit as we prepare for the translunar injection and the journey to lunar space. NASA astronauts Commander Reed Wiseman, Pilot Victor Glover, Mission Specialist Christina Koch, and Canadian Space Agency Mission Specialist Jeremy Hansen are safe, they're secure, and they're in great spirits. We will continue to monitor their health and the status as we move into the next phase of the Artemis II mission. So after a brief 54-year intermission, NASA is back in the business of sending astronauts to the moon. We have arrived at this point through a sustained effort and national commitment and the work of thousands across the agency, our industry partners, and our international allies. I want to personally thank the ground crews, pad controllers, the entire workforce here at Kennedy Space Center. This mission belongs as much to you as it does to the crew. The crew is now in the capable hands of Mission Control Houston, the Johnson Space Center, where teams will guide Orion through each phase of the mission with the same discipline and precision that has brought us to this moment. We've certainly been here before. We know the challenges ahead. We have a lot of checkouts to get through before TLI. And when, if all goes well, everything is go, Artemis II will be moonbound. You have our commitment to keep the public as informed as possible on this historic mission. And we will celebrate when we will hold our celebration until this crew is under parachutes and splashes down off the west coast of the United States. Thank you.
So with that, we will open this up to questions, and we will see here in the room if we have any takers. We'll start right up here.
Congratulations to all of you on a successful launch so far.
My name's Jim Siegel. I'm with Florida Media Now. And I'm curious about when the astronauts will have their first meal on this mission. And secondly, is somebody on the Earth back in Houston or somewhere keeping track of what they eat during this entire mission, and how do they go about doing that? Do they tell them what to eat, or do they kind of select what they want? What do you think?
Well, let's see. I'll jump in on this one. Well, what I'll tell you is they do have planned meals, okay? So they have a planned meal today. I will tell you they're very busy. So Ascent Day is very tough. It's tough physiologically, and it's tough from a workload issue as well. And so this timeline between now when the crew goes to sleep, so MET of about 8:30 is pretty packed. They're going to snack. They probably have some pre-positioned meals. I know they did in their flight suit. Some of the snacks that they can use if they need. But I will also tell you that flight day 1 and flight day 2, you might not feel like eating a lot. And that's just part of G is transitioning from a 1G environment to 0G, and it takes a little bit of adapting. So right now they're working hard. They are doing what they need to do. They sound great on the loops. That was really a good signal to us that they're feeling well. But just know that that's part of the equation, when they get on orbit. As far as the food being tracked, yes, we have a food lab, and we have folks at the Johnson Space Center tracking what they eat, the nutrition, the calories. It makes a difference. They do this on Artemis. They do it on Space Station as well. So we're well versed in that. We want to make sure that they're healthy, and we also want to make sure we know what they're doing, what they're eating, so we can also track that they don't need any supplements or anything additional.
We'll head over to Joey.
Thanks, guys, and congrats on a clean launch so far. Jared, or whoever wants to answer, how were you able to resolve the communications issue, and do you have any guesses as to what might have caused that? And was there any part of the mission so far that appeared off nominal, or is everything looking good? Just curious to hear how things are going on that. Thanks.
Well, on the comms issue, and I don't know, there may be someone here that has a little more detail than I do of having to run around quite a bit, but I think they're still looking into trying to really understand exactly what was going on there. But it's restored, which is important. I think it
was during handover to Tedros West. Sometimes that's squirrely. Ground configuration, you gotta get that right. So hopefully that's what it is, but we'll chase it down. But they were able to recover. They had intermittent forward and return links, so the burns that they needed on board it was never an issue. It was unusual for it to be dropped out for a couple minutes, so that's why we're telling you. We had a controller issue with the toilet when they spun it up, so we got to work through that. That's going to take maybe a few hours to troubleshoot. So there was also a water tank valve. There's 4 water tanks on Orion. There's a crossover valve that connects the 2 gangs of tanks. It's supposed to be open to ensure maximum flow. It was closed during ascent. When you shake the thing, things like that happen. So they're going to reset the valve. And then they had a recurrence of on Artemis 1, we had a latching current limiter failure on a piece of electronics. It's transient failure when it gets exposed to radiation. They took 1 hit of those. We took about 24, 25 of those during Artemis 1. Again, normal, the onboard fault detection cleans that up, but we're just getting started, Joey.
Just to be clear, right, this is a flight test, and a lot of what we're doing here is exactly this, trying to test out all of the things that require the crew interaction, right? And so we anticipate to have a lot of these. Well, that's what we're here for, work through them.
Importantly, apogee rays burn. Go. So they're going to stay in space.
Sawyer.
Thank you, Sawyer Rosenstein, NSF. I noticed that the slide wire baskets happened to deploy during launch. Was that something that was expected? And can you give any initial reports, at least what you've seen from the cameras, of how the mobile launcher is doing, given the hope to be able to quickly turn it around?
Yeah,
Do you have something on the baskets? I can talk about the turnaround.
The baskets they're supposed to get out of the way. That's part of the plan. So otherwise they take plume loads, and we don't like that.
So I can tell you on the mobile launcher, our team has already been looking at a lot of the imagery that we have that was taken both during and after, and assessing that, trying to get the condition. We've got teams, I believe, going out there. They might already be out on their way to take a real look. Some of the good things that we've seen relative to Artemis 1, one of the issues we had was that the water that was supposed to be spraying down the launch pad, so that there were some issues there that didn't happen. We saw a lot of corrosion. The water was working, so things were getting washed down. We're still also going to remove some of the parts so that we can do some of that cleaning to make sure we don't have those corrosion issues. We haven't seen evidence of things like after Artemis 1, like the elevator doors were blown off. We haven't seen that. We're optimistic, but we got to get out to the pad. We got to look. We did a lot of changes after Artemis 1, trying to harden the systems so that we can turn it around faster. We do anticipate there will be some items that'll need to be replaced. It's a pretty violent environment, but we're hopeful that that's minimized, and as soon as we have more information on that, we'll definitely let you guys know where we stand and how quickly we think we can get it turned around. Thanks.
Lauren? Lauren Grush with Bloomberg. I just wanted to get a gut check on how we're feeling about the upcoming proximity and ops operation. Do we have any concerns with that TDRS delay, or is that not an issue for that?
I would say right now we're on for the proximity operations demo. Haven't heard anything that's keeping us from that, Norm?
No. On track, ready to go. Victor Glover's going to be flying it. Reed's going to be working the procedure with him. And cross-checking, and Jeremy and Christina are going to be looking out the windows, also spotting, cross-checking, using cameras and imagery, and it should be beautiful, so we can't wait.
We'll go right over here.
Yes, Bert Dicht from Ad Astra Magazine, a National Space Society. Just wondering if the astronauts reported what the ride was like to orbit. I know with the space shuttle, it was a pretty rough ride until there was SRB SEP. Was this similar?
Have you heard?
I have not heard a report yet. I know we will get a report. Again,
Yes.
when MECO happened, immediately they were getting prepped to do their perigee raise maneuver. That's critical. Otherwise, they come back to Earth, which we don't want them to. So they got that. They are working to get their spacesuits off. They just got the ARB burn, which was very important. So now they're working to get their suits off. So they are very busy. Now later today, I anticipate they will call down and give us a full brief as to how the Proxox demo went, how the ride uphill went, and I personally can't wait to hear the comparison between this massive rocket and the shuttle.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Micah?
Thanks, Bethany. Micah Maidenberg, Wall Street Journal. Maybe for the administrator, I'd like to ask you, I know we're early on here, how you're thinking about success for this mission, defining success. A lot of tests ahead. And just what happens if you don't kind of meet that standard as the flight unfolds? Thanks so much.
Well, I mean, to me, success is undershoots and in the water safely after a 10-day mission duration, so no early off-ramps there. I think right now we're already getting good ECLIS data. We've never flown Orion with crew on board, so that's pretty important. I mean, understanding the Orion spacecraft is paramount in this one to progress on to integrated operations of Orion with a lander. Every day we're getting data. It was mentioned from the get-go. This is a test mission for sure. No crew have ever ridden this before. We'll keep gathering data over the next 10 days. We'll share updates, but we'll call success when they're in the water safely, and we'll start working on the next mission.
Jackie?
Hi. Right here. Sorry if I missed it. I just wanted to check in on the status of the perigee and apogee burns. Are those both finished at this point? And then I also wanted to check how best way to explain to the audience why we're doing that apogee raise maneuver and why we go into that high Earth orbit. Thanks so much.
I mean, I can certainly say we've completed the perigee raise maneuver. That was done pretty quickly, as you heard, and the apogee raise burn should have already happened. That should have been happening while we sat here. They were getting ready as we were walking in. And then if you want to talk maybe about the rest.
So we go into a high Earth orbit. roughly. The perigee is about 1,000 nautical miles, rough, give or take, of the Earth, 25,000. So it's pretty elliptical. That's getting us, everything we do is getting us set up for the translunar injection burn. And so it's getting these burns, it's all converging down to what we call TLI. So we got to get the Eclipse system checked out. We got to make sure we have our redundancy. We got to make sure these burns go off where they should go off, and get Orion and the SM configured exactly where it needs to be. So when it comes around and it's time for the translunar injection burn, off we go. And that takes us really, that puts us outbound to the moon. That's a real big commit point. And so you'll be hearing more about that tomorrow.
You might mention it not only sends us outbound to the moon, but it also sets us up for the gravity assist that brings us back. Set.
Yes.
Once we make that burn.
Go right back here.
Hi, TJ Mosquera with the Epoch Times. Thank you all so much. Something that hasn't been really talked about is that the Space Launch System predates the Artemis program, going all the way back to 2011. So 15 years really invested in this. And just how does it feel to finally see it launch with the human crew on board?
Yeah, I mean, right now, like I said, we're focused on the next 10 days. But I mean, I'll tell you, I'm incredibly proud of the folks that worked on this machine for as long as they did. And one thing we didn't talk about earlier was, one of the big objectives is getting the organization and getting our qualification standards and getting our certification rigor up to the standard for crewed flight. That's a big, even though the mission is a complicated mission, moving the entire organization to a mindset of thinking about risk in the right way to fly crew is a big deal. And making sure that the way we've gotten the machine configured to fly crew with the resilience and the reliability we care about is also a big deal. So it takes time. I mean, we got a lot in front of us, but I mean, it's for the guys that were out there, there's a big celebration in launch control for the rocket guys. The rocket guys can go out and play now, but the spacecraft guys got a lot of homework, so they're going to go work on that. But yeah, for them, I could see it on their faces.
Jeff.
Jeff House of Space News. During the countdown, we heard controllers working through a few issues, one with the flight termination system, one with the launch abort system battery, and it sounded like there was a brief telemetry dropout. Wonder if you could provide a little bit more details about those issues and how you resolved them relatively quickly.
Yeah, so Jeff, the FTS issue was we were doing an end-to-end test. We typically have to confirm that we can get a signal from the range to the machine and then back. We weren't able to close that entire end-to-end loop. But the guys at the range, they were really quick on their feet. They swapped to a different range receiver, which is a slightly different heritage, but has the same fundamental algorithms on it. And they were able to switch over to that and able to confirm a good end-to-end signal, which is really clever. We had thought about getting a receive-only box that we had in the VAB and shipping that over to Patrick quickly so they could do it, but they were able to fix it on the fly over there, so that was good. And once we knew we could confirm the end-to-end loop of that command, then we didn't need that receive. We don't need to do that test more than once. We just need to verify the commands get on board. And so once we confirmed that command was there, then that we met all of our public safety risk. For the launch abort system, we had a battery, so 2 batteries, several temperature sensors on both batteries. We had one poke out of family. We want to make sure all of them are tracking within certain limits. But we could confirm, given the locations of the temperature sensors, where they are on the battery itself, that the reading was instrumentation, because there wasn't a credible physics-based explanation for why that sensor would be that far high. It was an order of magnitude off scale high from the rest, and so we were able to quickly vote that sensor out. So that was two of the major issues. But again, the team, this is what the training is for. This is what the practice is for, is to go into those things and knock them out quickly. So they did really well.
We'll go right over here.
I noticed there was a lack of public address announcing outside, and there was a lot of going back and forth when we realized there were some issues, and we had to go back inside to find out, or we had to have our phones. Why was there no public address system available with loudspeakers outside?
I'm not sure what you're referring to. We're not sure what issue you're talking about the public address. Okay.
Available to people outdoors. And I thought that was a lacking.
We'll take a look into that. We'll definitely look into that. I wasn't aware that happened. So thank you for that information. That's new, and we'll definitely look into it.
We'll go right back here.
Thomas Moore, Sky News. Administrator Isaacman, as a fellow astronaut, what were your feelings watching your crew rising above Pad 39B? And do you feel that extra sense of responsibility for the crew as they head further into space?
I certainly felt that it would be, just from, I guess, my perspective in it, that, I don't know, it is far less stressful to be strapped into the rocket than to be responsible for it here on Earth. So I definitely had those feelings quite a bit. But, you know, you derive a lot of confidence from the process that leads up to this moment. I mean, literally the army of people that came together across NASA, all our contractors, all our partners to prepare for this, every step that leads up to it. This is what I, was really honestly going through my mind through it, is all the testing that goes into it, the integrated testing, the flight readiness review, everything that goes into a flight readiness review. Not to mention you have a truly exceptional crew up there that have been training for years on this. That gives you the confidence to undertake this mission, especially knowing the implications that it is part of a much bigger program. This is America and our partners' return to the moon, and we're trying to do it this time to stay. So, incredibly important mission. Certainly felt the pressure of it, but it was relieved, based on the confidence we have in the team here at NASA and everyone who contributes to it. Thank you for the question.
We'll come right up here.
Frederic Castel with France 24. First, of course, congratulations to NASA for the grand return to the moon. Mr. Administrator, I have this question that they ask me constantly in Europe and in the States. In the 60s, NASA was using just the slide rule to go to the moon, and they could launch almost every 3 months. Of course, they had more money probably, but what happened in 50 years? Why is it so difficult to make it again? What has changed? Thank you.
Well, for sure, we knew. Look, it's a very fair question. I know a lot of people ask it, not just in your country, but here in the United States. Certainly, financial resources are part of the equation. NASA's budget, if I recall, was somewhere between 4 and 4.5% of the discretionary budget during the space race. About a quarter percentage of that today. And I mean, to be very honest with you, I think competition is a factor in this as well. It's a great way to, mobilize the resources of a nation and concentrate on something extremely challenging, and that's what we did in the 1960s. And I think with absent some competition, we focused a lot on partnerships and all that we could do collectively with respect to science and discovery. But competition can be a good thing, and we certainly have competition now. I think that's why you're seeing us start to concentrate our resources back to the objective and do it with a great coalition across the NASA workforce, our contractors, all our partners that have come together, our stakeholders in Congress and the administration who came here to witness this launch, is because they know we have competition, and this one's going to be close. And I think as a result, you're going to see a lot more progress, more so than you have in since when this was originally conceived under Constellation. We're going to get back into the business of launching rockets on a regular cadence, and we're going to bring the world along with us. So.
We're going to take a couple of phone bridge questions for just a moment. Reminder that you can join by pressing *1 to get into the queue. We're going to start with Will Robinson-Smith from Spaceflight Now.
Hi, thank you, Bethany, and congratulations, everyone, on a good mission so far. Question about the upcoming TLI burn tomorrow. At what point during the day will the team conduct a poll on readiness to proceed into the TLI, and what are the main criteria that you'll be assessing to make that final determination? Thank you.
Okay, well, the TLI burn actually happens about the time that launch happens, so it's 1 day into the mission. So tomorrow, Eastern time, would be about 6:35-ish. Obviously, those burn times can change, so check that before tomorrow. But what are the teams looking for before TLI? We're looking to make sure that the life support systems work, that the vehicle's healthy, the life support systems have been checked out, they're ready to go. We assure that those are functional because once we commit to TLI, they have to function. And so we want to make sure. So that's why we spend a day checking out the systems. Ascent is, you shake, rattle, and roll a little bit, the vehicle. You saw that today. And you can imagine what that does to the systems. The systems, though, are performing very well. We anticipate that they continue to, but we want to get some track record on them before we do that. We also want to make sure we have redundancy in the system for comm, for environmental life support, propulsion, those type things before we embark on that TLI mission. So that's what the mission control team in Houston will be doing tomorrow. Jeff Radigan and his team, as the lead flight director, will be well into that. The teams are well versed on it. They have trained for it. They work very closely in conjunction with the engineering team, the mission evaluation Houston, where the engineers that have the intricate knowledge of Orion come together with the operations team, and together they work with the crew to make sure that the vehicle, is doing what we want to and accomplishing the mission objectives that we need to. But it always comes down to crew safety, vehicle safety, and mission objectives in that order.
And I might also mention, as those teams are checking out all of those systems, there will also be a meeting of the mission management team that's led by John Honeycutt, whom I think many of you have seen before, and they'll be meeting tomorrow afternoon to hear all of the results from what's happened over the last day, in preparation to make the decision on whether or not we proceed with the TLI burn.
We will next go right back here to Manuel.
Thank you so much. Manuel Masante with Exploración Espacial. I understand that the CubeSats are going to be deployed like 5 hours into the flight. Is there any chance we're going to see live images of the deployment? And then when is the crew, I know they're super busy right now, but when are they going to start using the flywheel on its way to the moon when everything is more like...
The second question was to do when they start doing the manual as far as...
Flywheel machine.
Oh, the flywheel machine. Sorry, thank you, the exercise machine.
I guess after the TLI.
Yeah, I'll hand that to you, but I can answer the CubeSats. So the CubeSats are installed in the Orion stage adapter, which is actually a part of the upper stage piece, right? So once Orion separates from the upper stage, we'll do the ProxOps demonstration, right? And then Orion has cleared and we're away, then they will be deployed. So Orion won't be there to take images of them, and once they are deployed, they each of them have their own plans for being able to communicate back down to Earth to various ground stations. They have their own communication plans, so we'll start to get information back from those individual CubeSats. So that's kind of the plan and the path forward on the CubeSat deployment and what you can expect.
We're going to take one more question from the phone bridge from Christopher Mick of the Hudson Star Observer.
Thank you very much. Congratulations to all the teams. Thus far, I had a question from an earlier media availability with Jeremy Hansen. He made mention of if the mission launched on April 1st, they would be experiencing a lunar eclipse. And I just want to follow up on that, if that's where that would be happening in the mission timeline, and if there would be any video perchance of that happening, or is that just going to be on the astronauts' photography at the time?
So you may have to answer the question on whether or not there'll be the availability of the what kind of real time. I'm not sure what we'll have there, but the crew will get to observe the eclipse. This is pretty unique. It's kind of interesting. It actually doesn't happen when they're out of comm, so they will be having communication during that eclipse time. But during the eclipse, the moon will be blocking the sun. They will be able to see the sun's corona, which is kind of cool. So they've been having a lot of science lessons over the last couple of days to learn about that and the eventuality that we actually launched today. So they're prepared to make those solar observations. It'll be a pretty cool and unique opportunity. I'm sure we'll get some images down at some point. I just don't know if they'll be live.
Tarek?
Thank you very much. Tarek Malik with Space.com for the administrator. There have been a lot of comparisons of Artemis 2 to Apollo 8, a pioneering mission, daring, that sent astronauts on an untested crewed vehicle around the moon. And I'm very curious, given last week's ignition event and how that really laid out an audacious and ambitious plan to really explore the moon in a stepping stone approach way, where you see Artemis 2 in that plan, and basically the importance of riding on this mission before you can make that next step for next year.
So, I mean, no matter, I guess, how you slice it, it's the opening act for sure. I think there are areas where we're clearly combining, Apollo 7, Apollo 8 into a single mission. Which we should be able to do. There has been, to your question earlier, there's been substantial progress, over the last half century. We have tools. We've certainly been there before, so I would expect us to be able to get some, mission efficiencies through. But I would say that what we learn from this, for sure, will inform how we think about Artemis 3. Now, there's certainly big picture objectives in that. We'd like to get the lander together. We'd like to test that out in Earth orbit before we go to the moon with it. But if there are things that we don't see, maybe it is comm-related issues, then we're going to try and fix those. And then we're going to want to validate that on the next mission as well. So, and that should be the idea, right, as we progress forward. I suspect when Artemis 3 comes around, we're going to learn a lot about the integrated operations that we'll want to validate and ensure is rolled into the subsequent missions. But yes, this should be a philosophy that we take across all of the grand efforts that we are pursuing right now, to not necessarily jump to the ultimate desired state, but to build up to it.
I'm going to jump right up here.
Hi, Richard Hollingham, BBC Future. Related to Apollo 8 in a way, really. I just wondered what plans had gone into a new Earthrise image. A lot has gone into the aspirational nature of this mission. Have you a plan? I assume you have a plan. What is the plan?
Oh, go ahead.
I do know that the teams have been looking at what the opportunities might look like. They've looked at the different launch dates, and so I know that they're really going to try to make that happen. I can't give you a confirmation on that yet, but stay tuned.
My understanding is they have been equipped with additional camera imagery capturing, equipment. So
we're going to do everything we can to try and make that happen. It'd be awesome.
We're going to go right back here.
Thank you. I'm from a Japanese news agency, Kyodo News. My question is to the administrator. The United States and China are competing over moon development. What significance does today's launch have for the US and NASA? Thank you.
Well, it's certainly an incredibly important step. I mean, this is the first crewed mission into this environment in more than a half century on a rocket that has never flown human beings before, along with a spacecraft. So it's incredibly important because we're going to learn an awful lot from this to inform subsequent missions. So yes, this is the beginning. I can tell you, having had an opportunity to speak with the Artemis 2 crew after the State of the Union address, we talked a lot about what we wound up sharing with the world at the ignition event, about adding additional missions, accelerating production, building out a moon base. I think it was very energizing for the crew because they knew that they were, this is a risky mission for sure. Any type of new test flight mission going in this environment is going to be challenging, and they knew it was building up to something bigger. And I think it was very helpful for them in that regard. So, and certainly it was very helpful for me to hear their feedback as well. I would suspect a point or two wound up in the ignition event from them. So.
We're going to go back here to the white shirt.
Thanks, Denise Chow with NBC News. I think for Lori or Norm, I'm curious what you anticipate could be some of the biggest challenges over the next few days, whether that's from a spacecraft or system standpoint or crew workload.
I'll jump in. Flight day 1 from a crew workload is pretty tough. Between now and TLI, we're working the crew really hard. In fact, when they go to sleep tonight, they're woken up in the middle of their sleep to do the perigee raise burn. And so their sleep's disrupted. They're hitting on all cylinders. They may not be feeling well on top of that. So we know that flight day 1 and flight day 2 up to TLI is really good. We know it drops off then. And so going into this, we trained for that. We did simulations for this. We put the crew in exactly that state. Now, they weren't on orbit. They probably were feeling great. But we got a good gauge, hey, are we working them too hard? And the mission control team is great because they're watching the crew constantly. They're watching their performance. And we also have a crew that's very good at saying, hey, enough's enough. And so together, we will make certain that we're doing everything in the best interest of meeting the mission objectives, making sure that we're not working the crew so hard that, they make mistakes or something of that nature. And again, we work as a collective team going forward. So this is our best opportunity. And they may add more stuff to the timeline before it's all done, and they may take some stuff out if we need to, but we adjust all the time on those things. So that's leading up to TLI. That's probably one of the bigger challenges, making sure we get those done.
I'm gonna go right up here.
Hi, Robert Perlman with CollectSpace.com. For the administrator, you mentioned the 53-year hiatus, and in that time, now most of the world's population wasn't alive for Apollo, like I think you and me. And I wonder if you have a sense of if even this early in the mission that this has captured the imagination of those people that have never seen anyone go to the moon before on a world level, on a national level, and how important is it to NASA to capture that support from the public?
Yeah, I've said it many times. I absolutely, I think it's foundational for what we do here at NASA to inspire. It should be a component of every one of our missions. I've talked about, I think after Artemis 2, you're going to have more kids that are going to dress up as astronauts for Halloween. We want to inspire and create interest in the next generation to grow up and contribute to this endeavor. Now, how have we done so far in captivating the world's interest in America's return to the moon? I don't know. You have to tell me. We've been rather busy the last couple hours. I would say, and I felt this way going into it, that when we got down to T0, a lot of people would be paying attention. I suspect when some of the imagery starts to maybe come back from the moon, that's gonna further bring people into this story. Right, and then we bring them home safely, and we start preparing for again the next chapter in the story. So, yeah, I think inspiration is extremely important. I think people, despite some of the commentary up to now, how many people really know we're going around the moon? I'm willing to bet right now a lot of people do, and I think we'll only draw in their interest further as the mission proceeds.
I'm gonna go right here.
Robert Coppinger, British Interplanetary Society Spaceflight Magazine. Commander Wiseman said during the crew news conference in September last year that when they get off the planet, they may only spend 3 or 4 days going around the Earth. What sequence of events would need to happen for that to occur? I was quite surprised to hear him be so specific about such a scenario. I know you all talk about it being a test flight. So what would need to happen for the mission to be curtailed in such a fashion?
I didn't cover the question.
So I think the question had just confirmed, it's kind of hard to hear, but the question is that the commander talked about one of the alternate missions where they maybe would stay in Earth orbit for 3 or 4 or 5 days,
yes,
that sort of thing.
What would need to happen
so
for
one
that
of one of the scenarios that would have led to that is if for some reason during the launch that the SLS did not quite deliver us to where we needed to be, or the upper stage didn't deliver us to the orbit that we needed to be in, that would have been one of the scenarios. I think that's probably the main scenario that would have ended up in that one of those kind of alternate missions. Yeah, but I don't think we're going to need to worry about that, hopefully. But the other thing is if for some reason we're able to stay, but we're not able to do the TLI burn, we would stay in Earth orbit. So there's a couple of scenarios where that could happen.
We're right back here.
Hi there, Joey Vars with the Gabber for anybody. In the weeks leading up to the launch
we're talking about some of the distance records and altitude records and speed records that would be achieved that were contingent on the specific day and time of launch. I was wondering if we had a better concept of what those might be now that we are successfully off the ground. Thank you.
Norm has that data for you.
Well, based on the predicts, right now, assuming all go as planned and the timeline is executed as we think it's going to be, it'll be on flight day 6 at an MET of about, 18 hours, 18 and a half hours. And again, check that as we get closer because burn durations and things like that matter. But that's where we will exceed or beat the Apollo distance record, or at least that's where we believe that's going to happen. So that'll be an exciting day, and we'll stand by to see what transpires.
You're right here.
Hi, I'm Hanju Yang from Kumin Daily in South Korea. And first of all, congratulations on today's successful launch. And my question is for administrator layer. And this mission also carried a Korean satellite on board. From your perspective, why does a crewed lunar mission like Artemis 2 matter not just for United States, but for the global community?
I think we say often that when we undertake these type of endeavors, we never go alone. We go with our international partners. We have a Canadian Space Agency astronaut that's on board this mission. We are carrying a lot of CubeSats from our Artemis Accords partners, and we are going to continue to do this going forward. JAXA is contributing a pressurized rover, a major contribution to our efforts of having an enduring presence on the lunar surface itself. The Italian Space Agency, just a few days ago, we signed a memorandum of understanding for a habitation module on the surface of the moon, a component of the moon base. And to be honest, it was also a key component to the ignition event from last week. Half of the Artemis Accord partners were present. We spent a good portion of the second day talking together, recognizing that some of our partners can make contributions like a pressurized rover or a habitation module, and many others are going to work with their academic institutions and universities for science instruments that could wind up on the phase 1 component to the moon base itself. So, or interesting tech demonstrations. This is something that NASA is extremely proud of, and will continue to do so as we continue to press forward under this program. So
we're going to do last question here. I'm going to go over to you in the back.
It's Paul Brinkman, Aerospace America. Can you just talk a little bit about the propellant loading this morning? Was it flawless? Were there any leaks detected? Was it a repeat of the wet dress rehearsal? Did you learn anything?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it went extremely well. What I heard this morning, and Amit may have an update from later, but some of the leaks that we'd seen of the hydrogen, during the tanking for the hydrogen, we saw leaks below 1%, which was significantly lower. Again, the seals that we replaced seemed to perform extremely well. We did a pressure test kind of partway through, and the leak went up to about 1.4%. Still, well within the constraints, which 16% is the bound that we have. So I think it performed extremely well. We actually, I think, finished the tanking early, from what I understood. So I think it went extremely well. So again, the seals that we had replaced out at the pad after wet dress number 1, I think that was proved to be very successful.
And with that, thank you all for coming out and covering humanity's return to the moon. Stay tuned for updates on NASA's social channels, including our continuous coverage on YouTube and NASA Plus. Go Artemis.